worsening conditions compared to Northwest Arkansas right now. It's wet. It's getting colder. We're going to get a layer of snow across most of the area in the next few hours, which will actually help. You guys got here a little earlier than I did, but on my drive in, it was starting to get pretty slick enough it got your attention. It's only going to get worse. So I'd stay huddled around the radio and probably try to work from home today. Most everyone's out of school. I don't know anyone actually going to school already this Monday morning. So that's where we begin. Be careful if you're behind the wheel, both hands on, just turn us up a little louder as we get cranked up here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, Grand Design, Forest River, now also Brinkley Model Zs are all there. Plus, you get a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Wheels RV, again, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
So you got a couple of youngsters. Are they going to have to go to school till 4th of July now with all the school cancellations?
Now, I have not, but if you are one of these that did make vacation plans in early June, thinking, well, the kids are out, we're going to get right after it, go on a quick trip after school's out, just shortly after Memorial Day, you're probably going to have to recalibrate. Here's the heck of it. Those last 10 days of school, nothing happens anyway, but they got to be there, or supposed to be there at least. So anyway, yeah, it's they're going to be extending into June because I don't think a lot of people built a ton of snow days into the calendar. So mine were already coming back for a day or 2 days, I think it was, after Memorial Day. Now, yeah, it'll stretch into probably into first week of June.
Well, speaking of recalibrating, might have to recalibrate what you're doing in March. I know I will. I expected to be following Arkansas like I have the last 3 years for their NCAA tournament site, and this team doesn't look like they're anywhere close to repeating and going to the NCAA tournament for a 4th straight year. 13-point loss at home to South Carolina. You were out-rebounded. South Carolina hit 62% of their shots in the second half. They were 9 of 18 for 3. B.J. Mack absolutely was on fire, and you let him get a bunch of open looks in that basketball game. Give credit to Lamont Paris in year 2 because he's done a much better job with this team than he had last team. They have almost already reached their conference total number of wins last year, which was 4. They're 3 games in, or they've got 3 wins already. But yeah, I would kind of like Tommy's saying with the June and trying to figure out plans if you got kids on vacation. I would not make any plans at this point in time to watch Arkansas in postseason basketball, with the exception of those that might go to Nashville for the SEC tournament. And Tommy, it's looking like you're going to probably start on Wednesday night and maybe get bounced and just have 1 game in.
Well, what happened Saturday undid what happened Tuesday. And I guess you didn't dig the hole any deeper, but it just more things are evident. Watching this game, it was very frustrating to Coach Muss. And if you listen to the post-game press conference, that's real evident. It was frustrating to watch. It was frustrating to listen. I did both, thinking I could change the fate of the team. It didn't work. And you never felt like you threatened. This was a horse race where you were 6th out of the gate, maybe got to 5th at one point, and you never threatened to be on the ticket. That's pretty much what happened in this basketball game. So you never led for 1 second of the game, and it never felt like you were going to gain the lead either. It's not like, well, if we make this basket. You had a little bit of a spurt in the second half. Was it they cut it to 7, and then South Carolina immediately went on like a 15-2 run or something like it. Doesn't matter, but I mean they closed you out, and it was curtains at that point.
Tremont Mark hit a couple threes in that second half. He was 1 for 5. Didn't score for the first 16 minutes of the ball game, which really hurt you offensively in the first half, and then somehow, some way, still managed to be 6 of 13, which is not a bad percentage. I'll give Tremont credit. He is efficient. He's not jacking it like 30-something times a game like we saw from Wade Taylor earlier last week. But Eric Musselman gave credit to one of their defenders, number 55 for South Carolina, because he did a really good job on South Carolina. Offensively, Arkansas has struggled in the league to this point. You're dead last in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage as well in the conference since conference play. So that is both areas, again, not just offensively but defensively, which are, again, huge parts of the basketball portion, that you just can't, you just don't have what you've had the last few years. And Again, I was holding on to the hope and the idea that, well, he's figured it out the last 3 years. He'll figure it out this year. I guess there's still a small sliver of me that hopes that this week with College game day coming into town, maybe an opportunity to upset a better Ole Miss team than we thought on Wednesday night. But there's just not a lot of areas that I can point to and say this is why they're going to figure out this year.
First time ever that game day of any kind is coming to Fayetteville, and you kind of wish maybe they weren't. But maybe this will be something that flips the switch. Maybe if there's any pride about this team at all, they're like, all right, we're at least going to put the gloves up. I mean, your best effort, your Duke-esque effort, your Purdue-esque effort may not be enough against Kentucky, but at least keep the gloves up. At least let's not get Mike Tyson's here. Let's not get run out of your own building. Let's not let this turn into, one of these Alabama football games that's been 52-3, because that's what could happen on Saturday. It could be one of those kind of deals where and this one's harder to figure out because under Musselman, this is kind of uncharted territory. I mean, we've never seen it come off the rails this bad this late.
Kentucky just got one of their better players cleared. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. Just go with Big Z. That's what he was getting called on Saturday. They beat Georgia by, I think it's 12 in their game, in their victory in Lexington. So he is a 7'2" player that can shoot, that can pass, and it's just someone else you have to worry about that you have to defend in Bud Walton Arena this week.
All right, so that's where we begin this hour. Chuck's coming up in about 20 minutes. Keep yourself careful out there on them roads. So it's depending on where you're at, it's a little worried. It's not great anywhere, but it's getting worse depending on where you're at, particularly south of the tunnel, particularly towards Ozark. That's where it is bad right now. Be careful out there. Brought to you by the Fence Man. We trust the old Fence Man for anything involving fencing, gates, custom projects, wood, wrought iron, steel, vinyl. It doesn't matter. They do it all. Chain link. They do it all with the Fence Man. 782-3936. Powered automatic gates. They got you. Controlled access. They've got you. Commercial, industrial, government installations. They can do that too. 782-3936, the old Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
All right, when we return, we'll hear from Eric Musselman. We'll talk some NFL playoffs, and want to hear from you this morning on the McLarty Daniel Hotline.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Tommy Craft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Picture this, a cold winter's night and suddenly no heat. That's exactly what happened to us. But when we called Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, they were right there. Their pros didn't just fix our heating. They brought back our home's warmth and comfort in no time. Even when our water heater started leaking, Pascal was the first name we thought of. Quick, professional, and so understanding. With Pascal's flexible payment options, we didn't have to worry about a big expense all at once. Now our home is comfortable and so is our budget. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
Hey, Wes.
Billy, hay is for horses.
I have an idea to bring in more customers.
What you got?
We yell on the radio, "Woo! Pig suey!"
We're going to call the Hogs?
Yeah, we call them all in. Woo! Peg Suey! Come get your pizza at Jim's Razorback Pizza.
I'd rather not.
Don't you love the Hogs?
Of course. But we can't call our customers Hogs.
But they're Hog fans, and our name is Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Billy, I love your enthusiasm. Look it, if you think we should do it, then let's do it.
Woo! Peg Suey!
What about moo instead of woo? We use Wisconsin cheese.
Really? You and them dang cows. Woo! Peg Suey!
Jim's Razorback Pizza. Blessed to serve you. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Good morning, Tommy, and I had a complete brain loss.
12:55 to go. Mark, top of the key, three-pointer good.
The Gimme the Hogs Chuck podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Brought to you by Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. You can listen to it at hitthatline.com or wherever you hear your favorite podcasts.
Sheldon Farmington texted on the McCarty Daniel hotline saying the roads aren't terrible right now. It's turning into slush. He said basketball is in worse condition if he had to pick between the two. Danny's in Prairie Grove this morning.
But we know the roads are going to get worse.
Yeah, he says, I usually never have issues with the ice or snow on the roads, but this one is bad this morning. So I guess
it kind of depends on where you're at right now. And temperatures are actually a little bit colder south of the tunnel than north, but I think we're all going to get a little bit of layer of snow. That was what I looked at before I came in, and that should help with traction. Because right now there's no snow out there, but it's supposed to start soon, and that'll help at least with traction. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was just a thin sheet of ice, so take it slow. Y'all got here probably had better road conditions than me. When y'all get here a little earlier than me, I hit the road about 5:25 from my house. It took about 5. My normal drive's 10 minutes. It took me about 50% longer. It took me about 15 today instead of 10 to get here. But I was pulling into the studio parking lot and turning, and I was going pretty slow. That turn didn't turn, so for a minute. So sorry about the dent inside your car, man. But,
that's okay. You'll just pay for it, so
well,
no big deal.
Forgot to renew the insurance. Sorry.
Well, you'll just pay for it out of pocket. I'll be okay. Brandon El Dorado texted.
Just a poor old radio guy, Ty. He just barely make ends meet.
Well, you're in a little different category than I am.
Brandon, in a lot of ways, you're right.
Brandon El Dorado said that he somehow thinks Arkansas is going to beat Kentucky this weekend. He just said, just watch, which would be the most Arkansas thing ever if they manage to, again, have this start in SEC play and then win against Kentucky for College game day this Saturday.
It's Hot Take Monday, right? Here's my hot take, Big C. Ty doesn't think they're going to win another game right now, but by Friday's show, he is going to be calling for a Razorback victory against Kentucky.
I think you definitely will be more optimistic by then.
They beat Ole Miss on Wednesday. Yes, I think they'll beat Kentucky, but they're not beating Ole Miss on Wednesday.
I don't know that. I mean, if they're just competitive with Ole Miss, I think the aura, the excitement of game day is going to lift his optimism towards the victory. Hey, if you're looking for tickets for Saturday's game, taking on Kentucky, you can go to SeatGeek.com and find them for that game and also the remainder of the 2023-24 season. Coach Muss and the Hogs, they need you there. Every voice counts, particularly if you got some eligibility and you can guard somebody. They could use it. Find tickets online at SeatGeek.com. If you have tickets, make sure someone's butt's in that seat, or go to SeatGeek.com, the official resale marketplace of Arkansas Athletics.
Brian and Rogers saying Arkansas has 4 SEC losses by double digits and 2 of those at home. 47 points between the South Carolina Gamecocks and the South Carolina and Auburn. You combine 32 and then 13. My math is off on that, so it's 45 points. But they're one timeout away from being 0-5. This year's team doesn't have it. It's just too late now. The hole is too deep. Play the underclassmen at this point. Get them some experience and salvage something for next year. Eric Musselman played 12 guys in the rotation on Saturday, and again, looking for answers and not finding them to this point. It's not like he hasn't been, again, shaking things up and trying everything. He's pulling out all stops. He just, again, the guys aren't really giving him any help.
Yeah. And, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to play a piece of audio there, but yeah, I mean, it's just frustrating. If you listen to Muss following these games, you listen to Saturday. If you can go to hitthatline.com, and if you haven't done that yet, the frustration's about the same, but the problem is he's saying a lot of the same things in different ways because I just don't think he has answers. I think that's the frustrating part is, this is a guy with a ton of experience and knows. I mean, we all have faith Muss knows what he's doing. I think he's out of things to try.
Yeah,
well, that's what I hear in his voice.
Just listen to the short, abrupt answer he gave when it comes to rotation.
I mean, at some point, what do you want us to do? Not try different players?
Again, 12 guys played. You had the same starting lineup that beat Texas A&M. And I thought Devo Davis initially had a pretty good eye. He found Chandler Lawson, I felt like, on a couple cuts a few times. And then offensively, you were just not at the same level, at the same pace that South Carolina was throughout the game. And again, I think we do have to give them credit because that is a much better basketball team than they were last year. But this show and on Saturday was about you. And it continues to be about Arkansas. And I kind of feel how Byron does, if not for what I thought was an inexplicable timeout call from Buzz Williams to give Tremont Mark, Eric Musselman, and that offense time to set up and figure out what they wanted to do, you would be over in SEC play to this point. And you're playing 2 ranked teams this week in Ole Miss, who, again, lost. Maybe they might have got knocked out of the rankings after their loss this weekend, but they're going to welcome you in. They played well at home this year. And then Kentucky, I think, as good as Auburn has been and as good as Tennessee has been, Tennessee throttled Alabama on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I think
from the get-go.
Yes, it was a massacre. I still think Kentucky's the best team in the league, and they got, as we were talking about Big Z.
That's pretty
cleared.
close at the top.
It's a tier. It's there.
And then from 3 down, there's I don't know. Does Auburn belong in that top 3 conversation? I think so. Probably. I was a little quick on that.
They have.
There's 1, 2, 3, and then there's a gap, and then there's everybody else. Maybe Ole Miss belongs there. I don't know. I keep talking my way out of what I said first. But
man, Auburn put it to Ole Miss.
But Tennessee and Kentucky seem to be a step ahead of – yeah, you're right. Seem to be a step ahead. Auburn's a clear 3 over – I think there is a gap between 3 and 4.
So you're putting – you had Auburn at 1 last week on the Pradco Pyramid of Power. You think they're going to be at –
I need to think before I talk. But those 3 seem on a different shelf than the rest of the league. And then you've got some teams there towards the bottom. And I think Arkansas's more in that conversation that are just not up to par with the other teams in their class. There's 3 different classes in the SEC right now, I think.
And you're close. You're next to Vanderbilt, which is at the back of the airplane, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, you're not even in coach. You're in the crapper all the way in the back. It's kind of where you're at now. Hey, didn't get any racing in at Oaklawn this past weekend. Should be back on the track this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you haven't downloaded the Oaklawn Anywhere app, need to do so because there is a huge weekend coming up this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Saturday, the Grade 3 $800,000 Southwest Stakes, also the Martha Washington Stakes, the King Cotton, and the American Beauty Stakes, all this weekend on Saturday at Oaklawn. Can't be there, get that Oaklawn Anywhere app. These are some of the best races in January anywhere in the country. With the Oaklawn Anywhere app, you earn points for cash back for every dollar wagered, and you can see tracks from all around the country as well. Plus, if you enter the code RUSH24 in the promo code area, that's RUSH24, get a $150 sign-up bonus with the Oaklawn Anywhere app.
All right, Chuck Barrett joins us coming up next.
Hot Take Monday.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
If you hope heaven has a bar, it's guaranteed that you'll be bounced and barred. Heaven is reserved for those who have put their hope in God's Word. Jesus said you must be born again by trusting in Him, or you won't see the kingdom of heaven. God set the bar so high, that's why Jesus had to die. If you refuse God's last call, the Holy Spirit will serve you a fireball. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
And Chuck Barrett.
South Carolina throws it in, the horn sounds, and this ball game is over. South Carolina leads from wire to wire, and they hand the Razorbacks their fourth conference loss in 5 games, 77-64 the final.
Arkansas at one point in the second half cut it to 7 points. Tremont Mark hit a couple of threes, and yet it wasn't enough as South Carolina wins by 13, 77-64. And I mentioned Tremont Mark, who had a much better second half than he did his first. I want to talk about him and just his impact, not just Saturday, but moving forward, and welcome in Chuck to the conversation this morning as well.
Hey, before we get to that, I just want to thank all of you guys for getting in here this morning. I mean, it was a little slick for me to get in here. I know y'all were here earlier than me, so thanks for making the effort to be here this morning.
Got it, man.
I really didn't want to come in, but I did because you guys were here. I said, well, I can't really roll over and just stay in bed today. I guess I better get up and get down there. So
it'd be a bad look, Chuck, if Tommy didn't show up. Right?
Hey, you guys just handle it. You guys just handle it.
You know, it's kind of sneaky out there right now. I guess that's why they call it black ice. You know, there's some spots that you think are fine, and then they're not quite fine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of right there on the brink where it's either wet or slick, and sometimes maybe both.
Yeah. Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV. Coming soon to Fort Smith with Brinkley's and their Model Z. But right now you can find them in Northwest Arkansas off I-49, 5 miles west of exit 72. Lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell. Never hidden fees that get added to the final price that's been negotiated. You'll find it all at Wheels RV. Again, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seems like the further south you go right now, Chuck, or, normally we think about the worst weather's north of the tunnel. Right now, it seems to be south and maybe east towards Ozark and towards your old stomping grounds, headed towards Clarksville.
You know, I heard them talking over the weekend, and they kept saying that Franklin County and Johnson County and Pope County and Newton County, that area was going to get it worse than anybody. And I'm thinking, well, it's going to be colder in northwest Arkansas. How can it be that way? But that's really not what's going on right now. It's colder in the River Valley than it is up here, which is generally opposite of the way it is. So sounds like the worst of the stuff right now is south of the tunnel. But now it's not smooth sailing in northwest Arkansas right now, but it does sound like I saw they had a wreck on I-40 around Ozark. You guys probably talked about that. But, it does look like kind of strangely, the
the southern part of the area is what's getting the worst of it right now.
There's a wreck in Washington County near exit 60 as well. So got a couple this morning that we'll keep you updated on if there continues to be so. And Tommy kind of suggested earlier it's going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. Like, again, it wasn't an issue when I was driving in at work at around 4 o'clock this morning, but it's going to pick up during the day.
If we get snow, which that's, when I looked at it before we hit the air, we're supposed to start getting a layer of snow. That'll help. Right now it's just you put on the. I was easing into the parking lot here at the studio a little while ago, Chuck, and the steering wheel didn't turn the car. I mean, it just as I was tapping on the brakes, it just didn't want to go where it's supposed to go. So just be careful. I mean, you can get to where you need to get, but if you don't have to, don't.
I think that's probably the way to go. But, it's just kind of right on that line. It's just right on that line where you're right around freezing, maybe a little bit above, maybe a little bit below. And sometimes when you realize it's there, it's too late.
Yeah. Ice is clearly worse than snow. So, I mean, right now we don't have any snow out there to give you any traction at all.
Who calls into work later today? Derek, DQ, Zach, or all three?
Sounds like by the afternoon, the temperatures are going to be up a little bit. It might be okay for a while. I don't know.
Out of excuses by this afternoon.
Yeah. 3 o'clock, you don't have much excuse.
They don't have
2
anything
o'clock.
to say.
Yeah.
Well,
if we can do it, they can do it.
That's the mentality. Hopefully they have. Well, Arkansas's offensive game was, I guess, snowed in, iced in, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday. It really started with Tremont Mark, who has been the catalyst at times for this Razorback basketball team offensively. He ended up shooting 6 for 13, was not bad. But first half, he just couldn't get anything going. Musk got asked about that after the game, and he spoke to the fact that apparently he's a pretty good defender that was guarding him.
I think 55 is a really good defender. I really do. I think he's got really good size. I think he understands spacing. I thought he probably defended individually as well as anybody that we faced. Super solid, really smart, high basketball IQ. I think he's one of the better guards in our league and probably not nearly talked enough about.
So, Mark, 1 for 5, 2 points in the first half. Didn't score for like the first 16 minutes. And with him being off, you're hoping someone else would step up, but they just didn't. Guys, there's a bunch of things that are concerning with this basketball team. But I think this is like the third or fourth time that they've shot under 40% against the conference opponent. I mean, we can speak to the defense, which was anything but there on Saturday, but they're the worst team in the league right now in offensive efficiency as well.
Well, and that's why part of the reason they're 1-4. They're just not doing much very well right now. I mean, you can point to pretty much every statistical category and see where they are lacking. And that's not piling on. It's just, you just look at the numbers. The offensive inefficiency's not there, and it seems like every time a play needs to be made, the other guys are making it. And when you're in a bad streak, that tends to be how it goes.
And Mark, I would say, is a guy that a lot of other coaches in this league would be a fan of. And I thought preseason, Trevor Brazile, based on some of the accolades and stuff, but he ends his game with just 3 points, only takes 1 of 3 shots. There's just not a lot of players, unfortunately, on this team that other coaches would love to have. And Mark is probably the exception to that rule. But I thought heading into this season that we were going to see some guys that were going to be coveted across the board in this conference, and that has not played out like I thought it would.
Well, I think when we talk about them, lots of times we are waiting for an individual, to step forward. And I'm going to tell you, I think that's part of the issue right now. I think there's too much that word individual or the singular person is being discussed too much. I think that's and I'm not saying anybody's out of line saying, well, somebody's got to step up. I'm not saying that's incorrect. My point is I don't think there's been a team aspect, at least to the degree that you have to win games. I do see players, and Mark's one of them, from time to time, trying to take the team on their shoulders. Mark's been the one that's done it the most lately. We've seen other guys from time to time try to do it too. But there's never been the elevation of the team as a result of that. That individual, the others don't follow, or he doesn't bring everybody with him, if you want to look at it from that perspective. that to me has been what's missing all year long is the team aspect to this, being the sum being greater than the parts, and I just don't see that. And they've still got time to get there, but they're about to begin to run out of time, and the numbers are not going to be there. You're just going to run out of time to put together the kind of numbers you have to get to that point. I still think that they can do that, but I'm just not sure at what point it's going to happen, and we've not seen it consistently yet.
Yeah, if the guys don't enjoy or want to play together consistently, I don't know how more time's going to fix that. I mean, because that's the appearance from the outside looking in, and you're a lot closer to it. But I hear more people say that because that's the way it appears. Sometimes perceptions are reality, sometimes they're not. But it just appears this is, a dozen guys that just don't really enjoy the time together.
See, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you why. I think there is a lack of team chemistry. There's no question about that. When they're on the floor together, there is a lack of team chemistry. But I don't think it's from guys not enjoying being together. I don't think it's from guys not enjoying playing together. I understand that appearance, and I understand why somebody would think that. But I don't think that's what's going on. I just don't think there's team chemistry. For whatever reason, these guys have not bonded as a team on the floor. But I don't think it's because they don't like each other. I know that's become a common refrain, and I understand. From the outside looking in, I understand why people would think that. But I can just tell you that's really not the issue right now.
Well, I think winning helps you like someone as a teammate.
Well, that's a good point right there. You like each other better when you're winning.
And I could be wrong, but I don't remember us having these concerns. We did a little bit last year, but 2 years ago and the year before when they were going on those like 12 of 13 win streaks and stuff like that. I mean, it was insane. They just kept winning games. It's like, man, this team loves each other. But what happens a lot of times is when a team loses, and the new thing to point to is, well, it's NIL issues. Well, there's not NIL issues in Knoxville. There's not NIL issues in Lexington. There's not NIL issues in Auburn, or at least that are public. But what people point to nowadays, and that's a common thought that's been used since the dawn of sports. But now it's, well, there's NIL issues. That's what
locker room jealousy.
I had. Yeah. It was amazing of how many guys that, again, 40, 50 plus years old that I was talking to over the course of this weekend and last week that said, I think it's an NIL issue. That was just their first set, because it's just, that's what people point to nowadays.
So why isn't it a bigger problem elsewhere? It's not like Arkansas is the only one with NIL or a disparity in the locker room. So, I mean, I think everyone's searching for an answer, and it's because there's talent. Guys, you look out there and you see players that are athletically gifted that should be able to, put this team in the top third of this league, or certainly in the top half. It's not a talent. You're not void of talent. It just, you can't seem. I keep coming back to an analogy. It's like someone took 3 different jigsaw puzzles and put it all together in one box, and this is damn near impossible to solve.
Chuck, you mentioned the team aspect, and I thought you made a good point. So I just started jotting down players that I felt like the last 3 years cared more about the team than their own individual stats. In some cases, their stats went down from the year before. Justin Smith and Jalen Tate were kind of the 2 guys I felt like on the team 3 years ago. Audice Toney and Trey Wade, both whose numbers went down from Wichita State and Pitt, but they're a huge part of that Elite Eight run. And then last year's 2 freshmen, really, in Jordan Walsh and Anthony Black. Jordan always playing, again, a lot of times one of the best offensive players, getting rebounds, doing the dirty work. And AB, I know he was one of the stars between him and Ricky of that team, but he was about assists. He was about playing through pain. And I just don't know if you necessarily look at this team right now and say, those are team guys right there.
Well, I look at the way South Carolina scored, for example, on Saturday. The number of assists. I think they had 10 assists on their first 12 baskets, if I'm not mistaken. They finished with 20 assists on 28 made baskets. Every year you have a new term, a new word. Connected is the word this year. Golly, I've heard more people say the word connected this year than any year in the history of basketball. But at any rate, they were connected on offense, to fall into that, the trap of that word. When you've got 20 assists on 28 made baskets, you're playing as a team, man. I mean, you really are. And, if you've got a guy who can defend the way Cooper does, that gives you a real head start defensively. And I thought their defense was good enough to play, good enough to beat a team that right now is not connected on offense. I don't think they're the best defensive team in the league, but they were certainly good enough in that area Saturday, and offensively, they did exactly what they had to do.
So Studi didn't play, and he was their third leading scorer. And if you look at the box score, they did a good job on Michi Johnson. I mean, he had 8 points. He was 2 of 7. A lot of times he was defended well. He did not do a good job on B.J. Mack. I felt like all 3 of his three-point attempts were wide open. But you got 12 from Davis, 11 from Murray Boyles, and you mentioned Cooper as well, who did a great job at the defensive end. All three of those guys finished double figures, which, again, they didn't kill you with Michi and Mack. It was a combination of some other guys as well.
I thought the 12 from Davis might have been the most significant because Studi didn't play. Studi averaged about 9.5. The guy that started in his place scored about 3 more than his average, and 3 more than Studi's average, 3 more than they normally get from that spot. So I thought he filled in very nicely there. I don't think Studi not playing was an issue for them at all. They played next man up. I mean, they did. And that guy started and played a heck of a game.
Yeah. Hey, harvest your best deals at WT Equipment. It's the value bonanza right now. Get New Holland Workmaster, Power Star, Boomer, or T5 Series tractors with incredible deals to start off your 2024. Hey, whatever the job, these fuel-efficient, versatile tractors help you get it done. Hurry by WT Equipment. There's locations all over the state. You can find one near you at WTEquip.com. WT Equipment. They're your partner in progress.
I think one of the things that stood out to me during the course of not just this game, but at points this season, is Arkansas's inability to get to the hole at times consistently. And Eric Musselman got asked about, hey, just beating guys off the dribble, basket cuts, and kind of offense overall. Here's what he said about kind of that whole ensemble.
Yeah, I think when you can beat your man off the dribble and then find a teammate, that's the start. We have a lot of guys right now that don't know how to set their man up off the ball. I mean, if you watch guys trying to get open, we don't get open enough. We don't cut hard enough. All areas that we've got to continue to try to talk to the team, show them. You got to have guard play to beat people off the bounce. And then they had one-on-one situations at their end where they, B.J. Mack backed us down. I haven't seen us do that enough 1 through 5 position.
And you think about, again, I referenced some players. Audis Tony, great back cutter. Justin Smith, great back cutter. J.D. Note, great penetrator. Anthony Black, same way. Can consistently get to the rim, use that ball screen, set the guys up like he's talking about. And I thought Devo Davis did that at times early in the ball game, but they have not had, whether it's Ellis, Minifield, Blocker, or Devo, I don't think any of those fours just they can get to the hole at any time they want to. A lot of time, again, there's the contested shots, which they haven't made, but that's another just issue of this basketball team, unfortunately.
Well, they didn't get to the foul line enough in the first half. You could, I think at one point, the disparity in favor of South Carolina was pretty significant. I know as the game moved on, that kind of changed. But I didn't think early on they got to the foul line enough. Here's the thing.
3 of 4
right
in the
now.
first half.
Yeah.
Compared to 10 of 13.
Right. Here's the thing. And look, if it's fertile ground right now, if you want to talk about what's wrong with this team, because they're not getting to the hole. And when they get there, they're not playing through contact. When the other team gets to the hole, they are playing through contact. Lots of times the ball's not stopped when the other team penetrates. Arkansas is not getting out on the three-point shooter. They're a half-second late on a lot of them. And they don't turn the ball over. They don't turn the other team over enough. They don't steal it enough. They don't score in transition enough. They get beat in transition a lot. I just think you can point to everything right now. And again, I'm not piling on. It's just the truth, and they know that, and I'm not saying anything they don't know. I will say, though, that there is still enough talent there. And I know that what they're coaching is not any different than what they coached a year ago. I know their message is not any different today than it was 365 days ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago, for whatever reason. And I can't put my finger on it. I'll be very honest with you. I'm hard-pressed to explain it. It's just not worked so far.
Well, I think one of the things that, again, maybe it's hindsight 2020, maybe I'm saying something different by the end of the season, they pulled out smaller guards in the portal. And I think we saw Chris Likes experiment 2 years ago that I thought he was going to shy away from. He didn't get any 5'7", 5'6" guy in this roster. But when he has plucked guys out of the portal a good chunk of times, and again, Mark's 6'6", he's the outlier. Battle's listed 6'5", he's 6'2". They don't have the same, again, girth and size, not just from a height standpoint, but a strength. And when we talk about their inability to finish at the rim, one of those reasons is that they're just frailer than they usually are. They're not as strong, they're not as physical, and they're not as tall. So the ideology that Eric Musselman has used to have success here in Fayetteville, he's used it with bigger dudes. And you've had success with bigger dudes. And the one guy that's still having success with this philosophy and this offensive mantra is the one guy that's 6'6", actually 6'6", and Tremont Mark. So next year, I would expect, I could be wrong, but the guys that he's going to pull out of the portal are going to be much more of the last 3 years than we've seen than we've seen this last transfer portal class.
Maybe. I don't think, for example, their struggles at point guard are because they're not tall enough. I don't think that's the issue there. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not being disagreeable. I just don't think that's necessarily been the issue at point guard, for example. Maybe at some other spots. I think he's going to go after tough guys. You rattled off some names a little bit ago. Tough guys. Audis Toney, tough dude.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Smith, big tough guy. Jalen Smith, tough kid. Those are the guys you win with. I was thinking this morning before I came on, about some of the great Arkansas teams, and even back to Eddie Sutton. But we had some bad dudes out there. Corey Beck, bad dude. Alvin Robertson, bad dude. Darrell Walker, bad dude. I mean, you have some guys out there that are tough. You have some toughness, and I think that's what they'll go after in the portal. He's really said that. He said that on his radio show a few weeks back. He said, when we go into the portal this time, and of course they will, toughness is the thing they're going to look for first, because I think we are seeing you cannot win in this league without it.
And I will say, again, I think every fan would love Eric Musselman to have to worry about game planning for NCAA tournament games and recruiting at the same time, because it would be 4 straight appearances, and maybe it gets to that point. But I guess the only luxury you can look at if this team continues on a trajectory standpoint is their sole focus will be on recruiting. So maybe a guy or two that they may have missed out on this upcoming cycle because of an NCAA tournament. I'm trying to find positives in a
Well, the guys you're going to be after a lot, by and large, are going to be playing.
Yeah.
I mean, if your season ends without a postseason appearance, the guys that you want, they're still going to be playing.
That's a good point. Yeah. So, I'm trying to find some light at the end of the tunnel. It's just hard to do this morning.
Look, there's Ty clutching at straws. There he is. He's clutching the straws.
Chuck, Tommy thinks by Friday I will predict Arkansas to beat Kentucky, and I said there is an asterisk around that if they win on Wednesday
night. Are you going
to
game day? You going to go?
Oh, he's already making signs, Chuck. What are you talking about? He bought his chest paint yesterday.
Tommy's going to have to work the car remote.
He's got body
paint. You're going to make a morning rush sign? Put it up there, man?
Yeah, with our hitthatline.com and how to listen and all that. No, I am excited because, again, this is something I've waited on for 20-plus years, and they're finally coming to Bud.
Well, here you are, man. Here you are. Today's your day.
It's a terrible time, though. I mean, you come in the last 3 years.
You'd like a rain check, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like Jay Williams was pushing it. They were in Cameron a couple weeks ago, and Shambi or O'Brien asked him, like, "Hey, where do you want to go? Where have you not been?" And he was like, "I want to go to Fayetteville."
This is a tribute to the history of this Razorback basketball program. Does it have anything to do with what happened this past Saturday? Absolutely not. It has to do with Nolan Richardson and Eddie Sutton and what Muss has done the last 3 years prior to this one. It's about the history of our program and the history of this building.
Well, then play
It'll
like it.
be a lot more about Kentucky.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you why they're coming. I'm telling you why they're coming.
No, I'm not mad at you. Then play like it, guys. Damn it. I mean, the last 3 years, Jalen, Justin, all these guys, they didn't put all the hard hours of work for you guys to blank the bed this year. ESPN put you on prime time. Hell, they thought you were going to beat South Carolina Saturday. So, we'll bring game day. They'll be 2-4. They'll at least beat South Carolina. ESPN execs, SEC execs thought you were going to be good this year.
They bet on you.
And to this point, you suck. Turn it around this week against a ranked opponent on a Wednesday night and beat the absolute tar off those bastard Wildcats on Saturday. Ah,
man.
Jeez, man.
I mean, are we safe? I think we're safe now. Books are flying. Things are flying here. I feel you, brother. That's how I think we all feel. Hey, one thing you can do: go outside and cool off for a minute. Got a minute or two, and then we'll get ready to go do some cold water.
Go check the weather. See what the roads are doing, Ty.
Yeah,
go out of the room.
Don't hurt yourself. Go take a breather here. Go take a lap, as Zach would say in the afternoon. Then get you the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. It'll help you catch the big fish coming up in February. This rogue suspends in the strike zone longer, helping you catch that big trophy. You can find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, with tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue. You okay?
Guy could have saved that rant for What's Your Beef Wednesday, but Saturday's
I think that is spoiled by then.
Yeah, it probably would have been a little more dead. All right, more than Morning Rush, hour 2 coming up.
Here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey, Ty Richardson for A Cut Above Lawn and Landscaping. Does your yard need to be serviced in the fall and winter months? Of course. A Cut Above is with you every step of the way. Whether it's commercial or residential, A Cut Above can handle all your needs. Tree service, stump grinding, brush hog, full landscaping. Plus, A Cut Above can take care of all your leaf removal.
Call or text today at 479-719-5605.
That's A Cut Above, 719-5605.
Hi, this is Arkansas Razorback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
The Golf Nut has a great selection of Arkansas hoodies and in-game shirts from Nike. The Golf Nut also has the best selection of clubs like Callaway Paradigm, TaylorMade Stealth 2, and Peen G430, along with a wide assortment of shoes, apparel, and golf bags. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks and schedule a lesson on the simulator at 646-4430. Matt has over 10 years in the golf industry. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. That's GoForsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, freezing rain to start anywhere from 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice, causing some big-time problems on the road. However, we will see a changeover to all rain. Our high in the upper 30s. We should see rain tonight. Temperatures holding steady to right around 40, and a chance of scattered showers on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
Team's got to play harder, tougher. We all see it, and ultimately it always falls on coaches. And so we have to do our part. We're used to having really competitive groups that are super connected. And so we've got to try to help this group as much as we can moving forward.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
And we welcome you in to a Hot Take Monday in hour 2 of the Morning Rush, where basketball is still a topic this morning, but I'd rather talk about something positive to get going in this hour, like the AFC divisional game between Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, which once again was unbelievable. It was awesome. Did get a weather report this morning. This comes from Mason down south in Arkadelphia. He says he's driving from the Delph, the Bryant, and the roads are fine so far. They're wet, but he's not too concerned. He said, get up and go to work, Hog fans. It's a Monday. Got to get over it, I guess. That's his approach this morning.
Well, I'm sure where he is, it sounds like it's okay. Yeah. I saw where they had a wreck. They're working one right now just north of Alma on 49, it looks like. Northbound lane from what I see.
Well, be careful. It seems like, north of the tunnel, Washington, Benton County, it's not easy, but it's
raining in Fayetteville right now. Just strictly rain right now.
Yeah, but the temperatures are hovering right around that freezing mark. South of the tunnel, and particularly east and south, Ozark, that area, south of Harrison towards Newton County, that's where it seems to be the worst. And the closer you get to Hot Springs and Saline County, the area he was talking about, it seems to be a little bit better. But
it's really weird. If you look at the radar right now, right around Fayetteville, everything's just rain. North of Fayetteville up to the Missouri line, freezing rain. South, freezing rain. East, west, freezing rain. It's like there's a little pocket right around Fayetteville where it's 36 degrees in Fayetteville right now. It's about 10 degrees colder down there in some spots.
I think it was the heat off of Ty in that last segment.
It was.
That's warmed some things up.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just doing my part trying to clear the roadways here across Arkansas.
Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Great brands like Grand Design, Forest River, also Brinkley. They're coming to Fort Smith with Brinkley very soon. We'll be telling you more about that. So don't miss out on all the great deals, the great service, the lifetime warranty with every new RV, and never hidden fees. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
You ever get so frustrated that you just want to go in the room and scream? I think that's where Ty is right now, this basketball team. He just needs to go in a room, shut the door, yell every profanity that pops into your head, get it out of your system.
Oh, and he's got a list.
And then walk back out and say, okay, everything's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I uttered 2 swear words that are legal according
Must
to
we swear?
FCC.
Must we swear?
In the 6 o'clock hour, I can get away with it. You're way more professional than I am. I don't know you to utter
Somewhere
those words.
in here is a bar of soap, young man.
Yeah. My dad's not listening that hour, so I can get away with saying some of those things. He's still not the biggest fan of when he hears me swear. Nevertheless, I was not swearing watching that game last night on CBS between Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills. But I'll tell you something. Were you?
I was pulling for Buffalo.
I was too, but I'll tell you, some Bills fans, they were swearing after this missed field goal.
Sean McDermott, after his 1-for-3 performance last week, he has tremendous support in the building. If he has to make one for us, with the game on the line, he will. 44 yards, Bass. No, he doesn't make it. Wide right.
Buffalo Bills fans know all about the 90s and what happened then. But this is their 90s Super Bowls. It's Patrick Mahomes, and now 3 straight times, once in Orchard Park, once or twice in Arrowhead. You can't beat this guy if you're a Buffalo Bill fan in the playoffs. You can beat him in the regular season. You can't find a way to beat him in the playoffs. It's unbelievable.
That was a great call by Jim Nantz. But have you heard Kevin Harlan's call on the radio? Kevin Harlan, I think, is just the best in the business. I
agree.
I've just for years thought he was the best that there is. But it was jubilation for the Chiefs, and you kind of paint the picture, so to speak. And the way those Chiefs players were jumping around when he missed that field goal, it was just such a perfect call the way he summed it up. But I don't think anybody expected it to go wide right. I certainly didn't. I thought Mahomes had too much time. I mean, I thought Mahomes is still going to win the game.
Yes.
But I thought he'd make the field goal.
That gets lost in the fact of missing the field goal. That it was going to be 4? It's like 4 minutes and change.
Well, it was 1:49. Yeah,
okay.
1:49.
Okay, I think the drive. Yeah, but he still
had plenty of time.
Plenty of time. But I thought, Romo said at the conclusion of the game, Patrick Mahomes has never not played in the AFC Championship game. I mean that just think about that for a minute.
I don't think we appreciate the greatness that we're witnessing enough because we just saw the greatest quarterback of all time retire. And unfortunately, we only really got to see 2 postseason appearances between Brady and Mahomes, the AFC Championship game, which was epic a few years ago where the Patriots moved on, and then when the Bucs beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl as well. Guys, this kid's unbelievable. He is and I call him a kid because he plays like it. Like, he has that Brett Favre approach where you can tell he's having fun. He's so competitive, and I'm not a huge fan of his family. I love watching him play. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but you throw that with the Taylor Swift stuff and everything. He's just a winner. He's just an absolute winner. And even if you are a Buffalo fan, a Cincinnati fan, a Baltimore fan, you got to give this guy credit because what he does, and this offense was terrible this year by Andy Reid standards. And in the biggest game of this season, they have the best offensive performance that they've had all year in Buffalo.
Well, I don't disagree with anything you just said.
I think they're coming on at the right time. And if you don't believe they're a threat to win the whole thing, then I guess, I guess you're probably going to lose some money is what I guess, because I just think that all the drops and all the things that have plagued them all year, they're finding ways to score points, and I just think they're starting to obviously play their best football at the right time.
Well, you think about all the build-up to Mahomes versus Allen, and it certainly matched the build-up. Now you got Mahomes and Lamar.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what kind of game that's going to be.
And it's going to – I don't think, again, the NFC Championship is nowhere going to reach the degree of watchability that we're seeing with the MVP.
I don't know. The Lions, man. The Lions are America's team right now.
We're ready to hear from Frank Ragnow coming up, and Dan Campbell, who Ragnow he's gunning it out right now and still a huge part of that team. But I will say I would love to see the Lions get there. I just don't know if they're going to be able to go to San Francisco. But they keep on winning, too. That's another team that just, for whatever reason this year, just keeps finding ways to win.
And did Greenlaw have him a game or what?
He sure did, man. He sure did. I'm going to be pulling for the Lions. And when Dre Greenlaw makes a play for the Niners, I'll say, great play, Dre Greenlaw.
I don't know really who had the better game, because it's hard to say, Ragnow didn't have the better. I mean, because we just view centers in their performance, but he had a heck of a game, too.
He's going against Vita Vea, who's one of the best defensive tackles in the league.
Second team All-Pro.
Yeah,
I mean,
second team all NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I know interceptions stand out over the performance of a center, but it'd be hard to say that Greenlaw played worlds better than what Ragnow did. Only a true football-trained eye could understand that.
And I'm a terrible Packers fan, but I found myself, Love throws those 2 picks, and I'm like, oh, what the? And then I see who picked it off. I'm like, okay, I kind of like that. Like, he had 2 picks in that game.
One quick thing about Greenlaw before we go on. I know people were saying he should have gotten down, and I guess in terms of logic, he should have. But he was a competitor, man. Even right down to the very last second, the stiff arm of the guy that was trying to tackle him. He was competing to the last second, and I love that about him. I know it wasn't the smartest play, but I love the way he competes.
Yeah. Eric Musselman Live still on for tonight at Sassy's. We'll have that for you here on the radio. You can stop by Sassy's. They'll have happy hour from 3 to 6 ahead of the show tonight. You can stop in with Chuck and Coach Muss, have some of the award-winning smoked wings, the baby back ribs, their famous nachos, maybe even the catfish. It's great, too, at Sassy's. And Eric Musselman Live tonight at Sassy's on Steamboat off the Weddington exit, or stop in anytime at the college location at the original Red House. When it comes to barbecue, catfish, burgers, and more, nobody does it better than Sassy's. Eat, drink, and be sassy.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own gun.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab.
C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
If you hope heaven has a bar, it's guaranteed that you'll be bounced and barred. Heaven is reserved for those who have put their hope in God's Word. Jesus said you must be born again by trusting in Him, or you won't see the kingdom of heaven. God set the bar so high, that's why Jesus had to die. If you refuse God's last call, the Holy Spirit will serve you a fireball. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business, on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Come to just the world of sports. Doesn't look like it's going to be the same ever again, if at all. They had a huge layoff of their staff and don't know the future of it. So if it is in jeopardy, and it looks like it is, and if it's done for good, if we never see another printed magazine edition of Sports Illustrated, what is the best cover? Now, I know most of you will go immediately to some of the Arkansas covers. I think the one of Sidney Moncrief dunking on Texas is my absolute favorite. I've seen an actual, I don't have one, but I've seen that actual print in person. I think it's fantastic. You think about Darren McFadden, Ron Calcagney, Bill Clinton. I mean, Arkansas's been on the cover a good chunk of times
Heidi
when it comes to.
No,
I had down. I had down. I know some of our listeners will immediately point to a swimsuit edition of maybe Christy Brinkley, Elle McPherson.
Yeah.
For me and Christian, there's some supermodels that are a little closer to our age that maybe we resonate to. But again, I think it's Sidney Moncrief dunking. What is the best Sports Illustrated cover? It doesn't have to be Arkansas, but the one that you guys think about the most.
Well, I mean, we've all. I mean, I grew up seeing. My dad had one. People got them framed. They made a commemorative poster at one time out of the Moncrief one. So I mean, Moncrief, and just the way he's got that ball cocked back above his head, that was just the perfect photo. So I mean, I have a hard time. even topping the Hog Wild 94 national championship.
D-Mac was pretty good, too, just because, like Ty said, that's a little closer to our...
I mean, there was a time, what was the bigger deal, Sports Illustrated cover or being on the box of Wheaties? I mean, those were the two big, like, you knew you had made it in the world of sports if those things happened to you, Chuck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Sports Illustrated, it's really hard to overstate how big Sports Illustrated was in the 60s and 70s, and it began to fade some in the 80s. But, being on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I mean, that was the moment from the previous week. I mean, that was the best picture from the previous week is what made it into Sports Illustrated. It wasn't always, were you the biggest story in America that week? It had a lot to do with the photo, hence the name Sports Illustrated. For me, it'll always be the Moncrief cover because it was the first one for us. All the ones you guys are talking about came after that. And we were not a basketball state at that point. Basketball was still relatively new. We were roughly 5 years, I guess, if that, into the Eddie Sutton era. We were just learning about the game. Sidney Moncrief was our first basketball star. And more than anything, it was national recognition for Arkansas, little old Arkansas. And the other covers, they were great. But in my mind, nothing will ever even approach the Sidney Moncrief cover.
Wasn't there one also from that era in football that had Holtz and Cal Cagney? And
when Arkansas was going to be ranked number one, they were Sports Illustrated's preseason number one. This was after they had beaten Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. And you had Holtz and Cal Cagney and Ben Cowens.
I would say Cowens was
on the cover. And Arkansas was a preseason number one, and they I don't remember their record. I know they tied, I think it was UCLA out in one of those Texas Bowls, Sun Bowl or somewhere out there, Arizona, toward the end of the season. And it didn't work out quite like they had planned.
JT in Hot Springs says his favorite was January 1993 when the Cowboys beat the Bills. That was his favorite. And he adds, and how about them Cowboys this morning? I know there's some pretty iconic Sports Illustrated issues with Dallas Cowboy ones as well when it comes to that. But don't know if it's, again, completely done, but it sure sounds like from the different articles I've read.
The print
Put
is
a
dead.
wreath on the door. It's over.
Print is dead. I mean, you don't get the newspaper anymore. I mean, everything's moved to an online platform. And to me, magazines just don't survive in the same form. And newspapers have struggled with the same thing because you're used to touching it. You're used to licking your fingers to turn the page.
All those
you're
photos,
used to feeling it in those. Yeah, I mean, it's just not the same medium.
The photos are what made Sports Illustrated, and photos are immediately available now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have that immediate availability back then. You had to wait, and you generally did see pictures in Sports Illustrated that you would not see anywhere else.
Yeah. Well, that is, again, your Morning Rush Daily Question presented by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. Sounds like me, Tommy, and Chuck all agree that the Sidney Moncrief one is our favorite cover of any of it.
We're all a little partial.
Sorry, it's hard to beat, man.
Yeah. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopascal.com.
All right, David is in South Arkansas this morning. He has some thoughts on the NFL games over the weekend. David, welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen. 36 degrees of cold rain, but an absolutely beautiful morning this morning. Anyway, my favorite cover, yes, the Sidney Moncrief one is awesome, but what's really cool about that, you'll notice that Texas dude has his eyes closed. It's like, oh, God, this is about to happen to me. I can't watch. But, Tommy, I got some officiating questions for you, if I could, please.
Come on.
Okay, these NFL games have crews made up of, I guess, picked refs from different crews. So I'm assuming this is like only the first or second time they work together. Does that affect, I see a lot of calls which I question. I'm not saying blown calls, missed calls, but if a crew has been working together all year, they know positioning, they know tendencies, they know this guy's going to call this guy's going to call that area. Is that affected in any way? And like I said, I saw some yesterday, yes, being a Chiefs fan. Of course I'm biased. Of course I am. But it looked like a punt returner was on his knees, got nailed, no late hit. That touchdown, I'm still not certain that the ball made it across the pylon for Buffalo. Also, that was a very, very quick replay. Travis Kelce, they went on for about 5 minutes. I mean, Hardman's fumble, they went on for about 5 minutes. Buffalo scores that touchdown. I was like, well, that was a quick replay. Yeah, touchdown. But I just wonder about tendencies like that, guys working together. If you could just give, and my main question, how come a runner is not called for illegal hands to the face when he can have a face full of face masks, but an offensive lineman can get called for it, a defensive lineman can get called for it, but a runner does not get called for hands to the face, even with a fistful of face mask? Go Chiefs. Thank you, gentlemen, and have a good, safe day.
All right, to your question about crews, they do work in the same crew all season long, but it's based on best at position or by ranking at position in getting there. And I still like the idea, particularly with these games that matter the most, that we're going to put the best you got available on the field. So as far as does it mess with crew dynamics? To a degree, but all of these guys are so vastly experienced. I mean, you don't get to the NFL by not being the best, the absolute best at what you do. And you think about how good these players are at what they do, there's fewer officials than there are. I mean, when you think about crews and the number of crews and how many referees or line judges or umpires or back judges there are, there's really not that many. So to be in the top 4 in the league, that's who you want out there. So all of these guys are so vastly experienced. I don't think the crew dynamics are sacrificed to a great degree to hamper the game. I think you put your best out there.
Do I need to send a strong worded email to Roger Goodell on why you're not getting called up?
No, that'd be because I'm not good enough. That'd be the answer.
Okay. Well, staying on the course of the NFL conversation, Chuck, you referenced Dre Greenlaw, and I apologize that we're an hour and a half in to the show this morning. We still hadn't talked about him extensively, so I'll do that now. Man, he had himself a heck of a game on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, 2 picks, and the one that sealed the deal. I mean, that was a great game for him.
Yeah, he was unbelievable when it comes to. I mean, you think about that. The interceptions that he had that game, and just, again, back-to-back plays.
3rd down. Love. The time again. Hard throw, and it's picked off. Dre Greenlaw has it. Cutting back. Greenlaw still on his feet. And that was taken down, and there's the big play the Niners get on defense.
So that was the first one. Tip from Jordan Love, and then second one really sealed the game.
Love. Pressure up the middle, runs away, throws across his body, and that is picked. 49ers have it. Greenlaw still up. He needs to get down. Greenlaw still on his feet.
He's got to go down.
Just go down, and the game's over. San Francisco takes over.
See, again, that play that you referenced earlier, Chuck, it was funny to hear Kyle Shanahan's comments directly after the game.
Yeah, I can't tell you how awesome Greenlaw is. I love Dre. There was about 3 seconds where I didn't. I wanted to run on the field and tackle him myself. I wanted him to get down. Once he did, then the love came back. He's a hell of a dude and hell of a player, and fortunate to have him on our team.
I just think it's cool. The NFC Championship features 2 prominent Razorbacks. One's again, Minnesota kid and Frank Ragnow, who came to Fayetteville. The other is a Fayetteville kid and Dre Greenlaw. Both had massive games, and you kind of spoke to it earlier. We don't necessarily give the just due a lot of times to the offensive lineman, but if you remember that Lions' final touchdown, he's the one that cleared out Vita Vea, and it was either Gibbs or their other running back that just ran right through the middle to score that touchdown.
And Chuck, both have incredible personal stories in their journey to get to this point. And, Ragnow's is probably a little more public because of the loss of his father. And I think most fans that have followed him are aware of that. And that, that's a lot for anyone at that age to overcome. And Dre Greenlaw's background and his story is very interesting too. And in the challenges he had in his youth growing up, both of them to be at this point, man, it's a really neat, cool story to see the success they've had and to champion their success.
Well, the odds are 1,000,000 to 1.
Well,
you know,
even under the best of
guy.
circumstances.
Yeah.
But they've not exactly had the easiest of circumstances, is my point.
And I mean, it's well, I was going to say, when you take the odds and then you compound all that, and Dre Greenlaw really is living out the impossible dream. If you really know his story, and I'm talking about the Fayetteville people, not the Razorback people that live in Fayetteville. I'm talking about the Fayetteville people. This town took care of Dre Greenlaw, and this town loves Dre Greenlaw. I mean, deeply loves Dre Greenlaw, and I'm talking about Fayetteville people. Couldn't be happier for him. Happy for Frank Ragnow. And I remember when Frank was here, and he's gone through some things after the loss of his dad, and everybody goes through stuff, and these guys certainly have. It's not easy for anyone to get to where they've gotten, and couldn't be happier for both of them. I mean, just incredible stories, and they've beaten every odd that you could have out there.
So you think about the setup for this weekend. You've got two of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, in Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, who you brought up earlier. That game will be in Baltimore this weekend. And then you've got two Razor, and I guess technically three if you want to include Brandon Allen. And I know Dan Skipper and Jerry Jacobs as well, but you think about it's more Ragnow and Dre Greenlaw. But, guys, I would think a good chunk of our audience, so the first game's the 2 o'clock one between the Ravens and the Chiefs on CBS, and then you got 5:30 between the Lions and 49ers. You got a great quarterback duel, and then great Razorback connections on the other side. So I would say a good chunk of our audience that I wouldn't say are Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, or 49ers fans are going to pay attention this weekend.
Well, Detroit's the team that's kind of captured everybody's imagination. Dan Campbell's a guy that every guy wishes he was. He's that guy. I mean, he's propelled that team to a spot that I don't think anybody thought they'd get to, and I think they've done it in large part just on the sheer force of his personality and the willingness, and the players play for him, man. I mean, they play for him, and so I think a lot of people will pay attention to that game, just regardless of the players who are playing. Just the fact that Detroit's there, the Lions are there, and it's a novel story right now.
Well, and we love to root for the under. I mean, it's just ingrained.
Absolutely.
It's in our genetic DNA as sports fans. If we don't have a team we're rooting for, we root for the underdog.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and this is what
Ever since Rocky came out, we root for the underdog.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I love Dre Greenlaw, but I hate the Niners. I mean, I've hated the Niners back since,
You can't be a Cowboys fan and hate him. Yeah, exactly.
But I am always pulling for Dre Greenlaw.
Well, I think what's important kind of talking point when it comes to the Detroit Lions is 2 years ago they were 3-13, and when Cincinnati made the Super Bowl a couple years back, they had an atrocious record as well. Burrow got injured and their season was lost. I'm always going to be a college football guy first. That's just what I was born and raised on. I love the National Football League. I love fantasy football. It's a big part of my life. But that makes the NFL to a certain extent better, is you do have more parity. You have these teams, then you still have, again, alpha dogs like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who, Tommy, you mentioned every single year he's been in the AFC Championship at least. But then you have these stories that you don't necessarily get in the college football landscape. And I know it's a little different the last 2 years with Washington and TCU maybe making it. But traditionally, the national champions are blue bloods. That's who you see every time. In the NFL, you can come out of the woodwork because of the change in scheduling, the draft order position, and kind of the different inner workings of that setup that I think make it more appealing nationally than college football because of the parity in the sport.
There's something to be said for that. I mean, it just kind of depends on what you like. I mean, your points are well made, and that is why a lot of people like the NFL. I think Detroit's situation, you look at the way they've drafted, the way they've developed. I do think that there's a little more of an appeal to a college fan, with a guy like Campbell and the way they play, and they're a little more rah-rah. I think that appeals more to college fans and maybe pro fans. But they've performed. They've drafted well. And then they've developed, and they've got an eye for talent, evidently. But I do think the biggest thing is they've gotten the right guy to coach that football team, and they play for him, and that matters a lot.
Yeah, there is going to be a very interesting storyline heading into this weekend with the San Francisco 49ers. Deebo Samuel's status, where they're 0-2, I think, without him this season after he got injured earlier this year. If he can't go, Brock Purdy's not looked the same with him out of the lineup and didn't look the same at that point at certain segments of that game. So, again, Detroit's odds, I think, got significantly better if he's not able to play this Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know what his status is. I mean, it's Monday morning. I would imagine if he can get out of bed, he'll play. I can't imagine anything other than a really serious injury, being hurt, keeping you out of the game. I would expect him to play. Hey, let's pause just for a second. Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. This is the time of year when obviously you want to make sure your heater's working right, and pipes are an issue right now. We just came through that. It's not quite so bad this time around, but you want to make sure everything's in working order. This is not the time of year to have a problem. And I want to recommend Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric to you. If you're in Northwest Arkansas, you know about them. They've been around for over 50 years. If you're able to hear my voice right now, they're probably servicing your area, and if they're not, they're going to be there. They're in Arkansas, Missouri, they're in Texas now. They're all over, Oklahoma. And what you're going to find with Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, number one, they're Arkansas-owned, they're Arkansas-operated. They've got a protection program that's going to keep you humming year-round. It's going to take away the worry. It's going to let you know at all times that whatever happens, you're going to be taken care of. They've also got a lot of no-interest financing options. They've got, if you need a whole new system, they've got the way to get you into that and make it affordable for you too. Professional people, professional service. You can contact them. You can schedule your appointment at gopascal.com.
So I want to come back to Arkansas basketball again, a 13-point loss to the South Carolina Gamecocks on Saturday. And one of the reasons you lost that game is because you got guys like B.J. Mack that were filling it up from 3, 9 of 18. And evidently, again, this is just another area that Arkansas hasn't been successful in this year.
We haven't guarded the 3 all year. Again, it's our issue to fix as a staff, but we're doing the same drills we did when we led the nation in defending 3, and I don't like to talk about the past, but I have found myself doing that a lot this year. I mean, we know who their shooters are. We knew BJ Mack. I mean, we talked about it. They're all assigned a color on the strength of shooting ability. You've got to be able to guard. I mean, we played zone, we played switch, pick and roll. We tried everything tonight, and none of it was successful. And it's not going to be successful unless everybody's connected, everybody's communicating on the floor. Doesn't matter if you play zone, play man, trap. So again, that's the toughness, the effort, all that stuff's got to improve.
So they're 177th this year against defending the 3-point line. That is, again, one of the many areas that they've struggled in. Chuck, you made a great point earlier about South Carolina's field goals. Their first 10 of 11 were an assist. 71% of their made field goals, 20 of 28 were assisted. They were just moving the ball at will on Arkansas at times, and a lot of times that comes back to straight line drives where Arkansas would allow, the defense would get sucked in, and then Mack or whoever else would have a good look at a 3.
Yeah, they did a lot of things right. I mean, they made hard cuts. They passed the ball well. They would beat Arkansas off the dribble, and they would hit they would hit the open guy with a pass that allowed him to be in a position to shoot. And the shooters did a good job of putting themselves in a position to get the pass and catch and shoot. And, hey, they scored off the pick and pop. I mean, they scored off the dribble drive. I mean, they, again, when you have 10 assists and 11 baskets, to say you're sharing the ball really understates it. You're clicking on all cylinders when you're scoring like that.
Yeah, and again, Arkansas doesn't exactly have an easy task this week. It's more of a gauntlet going to Ole Miss on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock game, where the Pavilion, I would guess, is going to have a lot of people in attendance for Chris Beard in year 1. And then this Saturday with game day coming to town, Kentucky coming to town, it just it does not get any easy. And again, I said it earlier, and I said it many times. I felt like Arkansas had a easier front-loaded schedule, where in terms of the degree of difficulty, and you were going to see tougher teams in the back end and in the middle. Well, you didn't take advantage of those games for the most part.
2 of the best 4 teams in the league, in my opinion. you play this week. So, I mean, this is a tough week. And, you got another chance to defend your home floor, but it's going to be against what I think is one of the best 2 or 3 teams in the league right now. And Ole Miss started off red hot this year. Chuck, I got them in my top third in the league. I think a lot of people do.
Well, when you're not playing well, every game's tough. And when you're not playing well, it never gets any easier. 3 of the next 4 games are on the road. I mean, we're talking about this week. You got Ole Miss and then Kentucky at home, but the next week you go 2 Mizzou and 2 LSU. So you got 3 of your next 4 on the road, and your home games against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, again, when you're not playing well, everything looks daunting.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're not playing well. So, if they're playing well, you look at that and you go, hey, Missouri, LSU, those are winnable ball games. You can go on the road and beat those guys. Won there before. But when you're not playing well, you look at every game and you think, man, I hope we can find a way to win.
One of the things they were able to do offensively earlier this week against A&M was push the basketball, pace of play, and Muss really wants them to get back to that.
If you guys ever see me tell the team to hold up and walk it up, that would be the first time that we've ever done it in the 10 years that I've coached college. So we need our point guards to push the ball with pace, and we need our wings to run, and we need a big to be a rim runner, all things that we talk about every day in our opportunity break. And they do a pretty good job of transition defense, too. I mean, South Carolina is a really, really good defensive team.
Yeah. All right, more coming up. We'll get to your Hog update. More details about the Hogs weekend on Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and a lifetime warranty on every new unit at Wheels RV. I know it doesn't feel much like fishing weather out there, but let me promise you, February is one of the best months to be on the White River and to really take on some of the best fishing in all of North America. And honestly, some of the elite trout fishing in all the world is what will be found at the White River in Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. February with winter rates makes it a prime time to be there. It's a great time to just kick back, relax, and unwind. But I'm telling you, some of the best trophy fishing for browns and rainbows is done in February. Make your reservations now, 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship.
And we're floating in a sea of red.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news for the new year. Introducing Road Ready Certified used cars. Inspected and certified with a comprehensive warranty. You simply can't buy a better used car. Road Ready Certified, only available at Rath Auto Resources. Another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Picture this, a cold winter's night and suddenly no heat. That's exactly what happened to us. But when we called Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, they were right there. Their pros didn't just fix our heating. They brought back our home's warmth and comfort in no time. Even when our water heater started leaking, Pascal was the first name we thought of. Quick, professional, and so understanding. With Pascal's flexible payment options, we didn't have to worry about a big expense all at once. Now our home is comfortable, and so is our budget. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Wheeler Power Sports is happy to announce their biggest clearance sale with combined factory and dealer savings up to $5,000 off now through Valentine's Day. Kawasaki Terexes and KRX 1000s are up to $3,500 off. 2023 Polaris Razors are up to $5,185 off. Kimco side-by-side starting at $67.99. Polaris generators in stock for less than $800. Wheeler Power Sports near downtown Fort Smith or online at wheelerpowersports.com.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
You got some Arkansas Razorbacks that are front and center at the NFC Championship this weekend. We spoke praises to Gray Greenlaw, who had a fantastic game this weekend against the Green Bay Packers. Frank Ragnow did as well. You can tell there's a lot of pride in Detroit fans in their starting center, and vice versa with Ragnow in Detroit.
To me, the pain, I'm not trying to sound like some brute tough guy here, but I was just more frustrated than anything, the fact that it just, again, you know, it was tough, but it was worth it.
What allows you to play your best, maybe?
My parents, I don't know. My dad was one of the toughest people I've ever met. My mom's one of the toughest people I've ever met. And I just take a lot of pride in being out there with the guys, being out there for the city. They signed me to this extension a few years ago, and I want to be fulfilling that, you know. I don't want to be that guy who gets paid and not doing that stuff, you know. I want to be out there and finding a way to win.
That's a football guy, Chuck. I mean, if you watched him on the sidelines, he was grimacing a good chunk of the times every time the television kind of panned to him. But he played regardless. He's going to play this Sunday.
Yeah, offensive lineman, man. I mean, he's got that mentality. Really, really happy for Frank. I mean, he good guy, and as we discussed a little bit earlier, I mean, beating the odds and living out what seems to be an impossible dream, and so. Good for him. Good for Dre, and I hope both of them have great games.
Yep, and hopefully, again, it ends up being a great one this weekend. I know that the basketball side of things have not gone according to plan to this point in time, but you do have College Game Day coming to Fayetteville this weekend.
And now what? Arkansas is getting ready to play South Carolina. And next week, we're getting you ready. Live from Fayetteville. First time the show has been there.
All right, rank Reese Davis's. So we call from 1 to 10.
Not very good.
-2, but we can work on that.
Okay.
I mean, there's some foundation blocks there we can build upon, but we got to rearrange a few things.
10 o'clock this Saturday on ESPN. First time, as you heard Reese Davis say, that Game Day basketball version has ever been to Fayetteville. So I know you're, again, conference-wise, you hadn't started where you want to. Really, this season hasn't gone, but that'd be nice if they played like the Arkansas basketball program we've come to know this Saturday.
Man, if they had Game Day in college baseball, they'd be getting mail here, but they don't. So I mean, it's only the second time Game Day program has been to our city. Period.
I don't watch the basketball game day as much as I have the football game day. I don't know how much viewership they have. Do they come inside the arena or do they do it outside?
It'll be inside. So
okay.
You'll have.
I was trying to figure out where they would set up in there.
I'm curious.
I'm sure they've planned it out.
Yeah, I'm curious which.
I think in your chair. I think they're going to sit in your seat.
That's
actually.
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Keep it warm.
They can try to look around Muss too. I mean, they can lean to the left, lean to the right, stand up. And
you probably got the best worked out obliques of anybody. All that back and forth motion.
I'm going to tell you something. He moves around. He really does.
Oh, man. Yeah, that advantage point. I still remember when you and Z, Chuck, were doing, when we were in Hinkle Fieldhouse, and you guys were kind of up on like the second level trying to do the game. I know, again, that's
the best place to do a game. If you go to a lot of the new NBA arenas, that's the way they have it set up now. The radio guys, the broadcast guys are at that mezzanine level. It's really the best place to do a game because it's like watching a game on television. It's the same angle. Whereas when you're right there on the floor, you've got officials, players, coaches. It's really the worst seat in the house. But that's, for some reason, in college, that's the way it's done. In the NBA, they don't do it like that. And it's a terrible basketball seat. Does it sound like I'm lobbying for a different spot? Does it sound like I'd like a different spot when they renovate the arena?
I think it does.
I don't think they're listening. But but yeah. I mean, I don't even know what you ask about. I just saw an opportunity to get a plug in there, so I did.
Jay Billis is going to sit in your seat. That's all That's all I've been told.
Yeah, that's right. Game day. That's where we
game
were.
day.
Yeah.
And by the end of this week, my prediction is it's Monday. Ty thinks he'll never win again. By Saturday,
Ty'll have a sign.
By
babe.
Saturday, he'll have a sign. He'll have body paint, and he'll be predicting the Hogs win by 10.
They went on Wednesday.
You should body surf down the student section. Yeah. That's what you should.
The only disappointing aspect.
They gained too much weight to do that.
Is let's cut that out. I'm skinnier now than I was in college. The only disappointing aspect of this is I'm not going to be the student that's going to be shooting for $10,000.
Is that going to happen?
I think so, unless they changed it up this year.
Hey, remember the night the student made it and his foot was on the line and Shanklin waved it off and Broyles came down there and they were booing. That was a good moment.
A ringside seat for that.
And Frank, if I remember correctly,
I don't remember.
Pulled money or did something and paid the guy.
It wasn't out of his own pocket, I can assure you.
I think the university ended up paying because the whole reason that it was waived off was because the insurance company wouldn't pay. Because if your foot's on the line, the insurance company's not going to pay the money. All that stuff's insured. And I do think, if I recall correctly, that ultimately somebody that's old enough to remember may correct me, but if I remember right, the university ended up paying him out of university money. because there was a backlash and there was a sponsor involved. And the students got after the sponsor pretty good during the course of the game. Great moments in Razorback history right there, guys.
And so they've actually had another one in like 2014 or whatever. A kid's name's Brendan. I actually know him that hit a half-court shot and won money as well. So you've had 2 times that's happened.
What is
in
it?
favor.
Layup, free throw, 3-pointer, then the half-court shot, right?
And it was it was nothing but net. And that one that you guys referenced was also pretty cool. So maybe it happens.
Somebody won $10,000 over the weekend on that putting thing. You know, where you putt from one end of the floor to the other. And some guy won $10,000 over the weekend.
Maybe harder than the half-court shot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think it was in Terre Haute, Chuck, in Indiana State.
Indiana State?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Home of
I remember it happened at Ole Miss, I think, one year.
Home of Larry Bird and those cheating 79 Sycamores that beat Arkansas.
He traveled, man.
He traveled. Sydney got tripped, and they called a walk. I mean, just still BS because they wanted Magic and Larry in the championship where Larry got railed, and it wasn't even a good game.
But that team was connected.
Well, hey, listen. Evidently, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we're not connected.
This year's word is connected.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I wasn't a huge fan.
Need to get connected.
I said it.
Listen,
I admit it.
Jared,
it's been that word's been around for a couple years. It's more prominent.
Every team needs a good buzzword, and this year it's connected.
Yeah, the sport has.
Unfortunately, it's just not that. That's your Hog Updates, brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
But yes, if they win on Wednesday night, they're going to win on Saturday. There's no question about that. you bet your life savings.
What if they lose Wednesday?
Then they're not winning Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Are those two things connected?
Yes, they are.
Okay, I'm just checking. Hey, the Hangout, Fort Smith's newest place to work out and get connected with friends and everyone else that loves the fitness community. Over 8,000 square feet of 24-hour fitness. They also offer their members indoor pickleball, tennis, and racquetball. Ty and I love the Hangout. It's the place to get in better shape, have fun, meet people. Stop in today, 5400 Gary Street, or thehangoutfs.com for more information, including pickleball leagues that they're putting together right now, and very affordable individual and family plans as well. Be a part of something different, something better that Fort Smith has needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out. Go to thehangoutfs.com.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
This is the Morning Rush.
Can you say busy? That's what's happening over at Westart Plumbing and Expert Drain Cleaning Service. They're looking to add to their team ASAP. 4th year or higher plumbers are needed now. Pay range depends on your willingness to work. You can have all the overtime and commission you want, which ranges from $20 to $75 per hour if you're looking for a cool crew and a shop to work for. They even have a gym on site to keep you healthy and strong. Then give Robin a call at Westart Plumbing and Drain Cleaning Services. 479-646-5151. 479-646-5151.
Hi, this is Arkansas Razorback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kymco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports. Keeping the good times rolling.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Megabass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Picture this, a cold winter's night and suddenly no heat. That's exactly what happened to us. But when we called Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric, they were right there. Their pros didn't just fix our heating. They brought back our home's warmth and comfort in no time. Even when our water heater started leaking, Pascal was the first name we thought of. Quick, professional, and so understanding. With Pascal's flexible payment options, we didn't have to worry about a big expense all at once. Now our home is comfortable and so is our budget. Schedule now at gopascal.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, freezing rain to start anywhere from 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch of ice, causing some big-time problems on the road. However, we will see a changeover to all rain. Our high in the upper 30s. We should see rain tonight. Temperatures holding steady to right around 40, and a chance of scattered showers on Tuesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard. Your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits.
Live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Team's got to play harder, tougher. We all see it, and ultimately it always falls on coaches. And so we have to do our part. We're used to having really competitive groups that are super connected. And so we've got to try to help this group as much as we can moving forward.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
And we welcome you back into hour number 3 on the Morning Rush, where surprisingly enough, and I know we seldom say this across our airways, but the weather in South and Central Arkansas might be worse than Northwest Arkansas. Got a few wrecks this morning, one near Atkins in Pope County, one in Ozark, a recent one in Bentonville as well. So if you're driving in any of those areas, and you guys, we've talked about black ice a little bit, sometimes it doesn't look like that bad, and then you hit a patch or two that's pretty bad. So be safe out driving this morning as we keep you going here on a Hot Take Monday.
Yeah, you can.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You can call or text us with your road stories this morning, 877-377-6963 on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and a lifetime warranty on every new RV they sell at Wheels RV.
It's kind of weird when you look at it. Like in Fayetteville right now where I am, it's 38 degrees, just straight rain. But you go up to Bella Vista, and it's like 32. You go down to Alma, and it's 30. And in Ozark, it's 30. And it's Mena. In Mena, I saw it's 32. So it's really strange right now. In fact, on the square in Fayetteville right now, the temperature's 41. And at Drake Field, it's 37, I think. But by the time you get down to Alma, or by the time you get up to Bella Vista, it's below freezing. So
because doesn't cold air normally sink, and the lowest,
I don't know.
Well, yeah, cold air sinks, hot air rises, and normally, I mean, Fayetteville's the lowest elevation in north of the tunnel. It dips down there. I mean, so yeah, that is kind of
strange.
It is backwards of what we normally think this time of the year.
It's not what fans in Buffalo were dealing with last weekend or anything, but it is quite chilly.
Oh, well, we were dealing with last week.
And again, when I was in Chicago for New Year's, it was colder in Northwest Arkansas than it was in Chicago at the time. So it's been freezing, and I know that's ruined your golf.
Man, well, I'm going to say, as a golfer, what really hacks you off, you understand it's cold and it's January, but we're going to get like 55 degrees this week. But it's going to be so wet because there's rain. I mean, I don't know. You're going to really want to this week, and I may.
You got to have that dog in you. Do you not have your dog? Do you not have any dog in you?
Well, it's going to be cart path only.
Country club.
If the temperature's below my age, I'm not playing.
I love when you say that. I love that so much when you say that. It is.
That limits you to about 3 months a year, big boy.
Oh.
Huh?
That limits you to about 3 months.
No. I've got a good 6 months available to me now. I got a good 6 months.
That's like my favorite phrase that you say on these airwaves is that golf one. Well, we mentioned a couple wrecks this morning across Arkansas. Once again,
well, there was a wreck Saturday at Bud Walton.
Yeah, and once again, Arkansas got wrecked by a couple of different things. And I know, again, there's so many things we can be critical of, and Muss was very, very open about that. And the word I've heard, we've talked about connected, but just disappointing as well.
Disappointing. Thought we battled against Texas A&M. We've now had 2 home games where we're not, exhibiting the energy that we need to. So obviously toughness, rebounding, offensively sharing the ball. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We played against a good team that played with more energy and more connectedness and more toughness than what we played with.
I'll pick a word out there in what he said, battled. I thought they battled, just like he said. I thought they battled against Texas A&M. They competed, and I know that it slipped away in the second half, but I don't think it was for a lack of battling. And in the first half, man, I mean, they played really what's been their one good half of basketball since conference play started. That's been their one good half of basketball, was that first half against Texas A&M. But even as it was slipping in the second half, they were competing. And, I got to be honest, when you look at their entire body of work, the idea that they would lose a 20-point lead and then come back and win the game, I mean, that's not a given by any stretch. I thought they competed in that game. And I realized from the outside looking in and from 10,000 feet, it's easy to say, man, those guys are not competing. When, in fact, in their minds they may be. But it's just not translating. And they're not as tough and as gritty as you've got to be to win in conference play right now. They're just not.
Well, Jeremiah Davenport didn't think they competed. He thought they showed a lack of effort.
Definitely didn't have no swagger today. Just lack of effort, all the way around. That's pretty much all I can say is just lack of effort today.
So I don't know. Get the players feel like they're not giving it their all, and
so why? I mean, and that's the question. I mean, we see it. I had some buddies that went to the game. They felt like there wasn't a lot of energy when they even took the floor for kind of the final warm-ups when they were announced back into the arena. So why are you not motivated enough to go out and play, to get your motor geared up to play at the level you got to?
It's puzzling to me because we saw something very similar with this football team. Their inability to get inspired at home, which when you think about the two venues you typically play, and I guess the neutral side is included on that as well, so 3, home should be a lot easier to get inspired.
Football was outmanned. Basketball's not outmanned. Our football team was outmanned
That's
a
right.
lot of the times when they played this year. It didn't really matter where they played. Basketball's not outmanned. There's talent on this basketball team. It's just not come together.
Well, I think what is an element, again, the reason I bring up football is because while it's not fair, when you parlay those two things of a bad football season at 4-8 and a basketball team that was preseason expect to be really good, and I know it's harder to predict now than it ever has.
But those are different subjects. I get what you're driving at, but those are different subjects.
You're 100% right. But fans, a good chunk of Morning Rush listeners that I talked to, this is what they were counting on.
But you're changing the subject. You're changing the subject. You're talking about playing at home, and then you're changing the subject into, well, they thought the basketball team would be better, and they're disappointed because football wasn't good. You're right about that. But that's a different subject than protecting home floor.
Yeah, no, I just see similarities between the two. I would agree that the football team is more outmanned at times than the basketball, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to me because you look at the track record under Eric Musselman, it's been the best games that you've won, and of course the NCAA tournament victories, but the wins at home. I mean, it's been virtually impossible, not just under Muss, but under other coaches who don't have the same players and haven't necessarily had the same coaching ability to win in this arena. And in your 2 SEC losses at home, it's been by a combined 45 points. It's not close.
Oh,
They're
right.
not tied. I mean, you're getting waxed in these games. And Auburn, we've talked about it being the highest deficit ever in that arena, which is historic. We know that. I know there's going to be a lot of parallels to what Arkansas basketball has been this Saturday when College Game Day comes in. But there has to be a sense of pride. I know Muss has spoken to former assistant coaches and former players that have reached out. But, if you're a current player on this roster, you've got to have a sense of, man, these last 3 years, they've got it back into where it needs to be. And in one season, we might let that completely slip and wither away into the depths of the SEC where Arkansas is right now. I mean, it's you and Vanderbilt. That's it. And I never in my wildest dreams looking at this team in the offseason thought it would be at this point. And there's plenty of time left. I say there's plenty of time. You're losing time as it takes, and you've got a brutal schedule this week. But I am just so confused on how this season has gone to this point. And maybe it's just, maybe I was completely off. Maybe it was a homer looking at him preseason.
Well, what were your expectations? And we were talking Final Four. We were, talking this should be the team. Transfer portal rankings gave you reason to believe that. Chuck, we talked coming out of last year's tournament that teams with more experience and coming out of the portal and had fewer players, less high school recruits, if you want to look at it that way, seemed to have a better run in the tournament. Everything pointed from the construction of this team to have high expectations. And that's a big part of it. We had our expectations where we believed the next step was going to be taken, and it's clearly not.
No, there's no doubt. Whatever your personal expectations are, whatever they were when the season started, based on what those were, that's how you're going to feel about how any season goes. I think the thing that gave people optimism, and I'll be honest, it did me too, was it seemed like that, they had addressed what plagued them at times last year, and that was, the inability to shoot, inability to score. They went out and got some scorers, went out and got some shooters. I think we're discovering again that there's so much more to the game than that. I know that they're coaching it the same way they did last year and the year before and the year before that and probably for many years before they even got here. So I don't think there's been any sort of, change in philosophy. And, people point to a lot of things. NIL is a popular target right now. Well, other teams are paying players too. That's a universal issue right now, and it does make coaching teams more difficult because there is the sense, and I guess it was Gino Auriemma that said it's really tough to coach a player right now that thinks you owe them everything and they don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, and I'm not saying this group falls into that, but I do know for whatever reason a lot of the things they're telling them seem to go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know the reason for that, and they don't know the reason for that. If anybody did, they'd solve it. I can tell you right now, if somebody, anybody, could give Muss the answer, he'd listen. I can assure you.
Yeah, I mean, because it's not like Arkansas is the only one with potential locker room issues caused by NIL. All these other schools are battling the same stuff, but they're overcoming however those things affect the on-floor performance, and Arkansas isn't. And I'm not sure those are the root of the problem here, because those are the same issues that Auburn has, or A&M has, or South Carolina has.
Look, I don't think any kid goes into the locker room after the game and consciously says to themselves, I don't care, I'm getting paid. I don't believe that happens. I do think these guys want to win. I don't think that that's the root of all issues, as a lot of people do. Now, I do think it affects things. I'm not naive. I think it affects things from the top of your program to the bottom of your program. There's no question. It's changed everything. But I don't necessarily think that's the root.
Yeah. You brought up the Gino Auriemma, and I had this clip, and I want to play. It's a little long. I've included the question here as well because I think it's important, the context. For those who don't know who that is, he's one of the greatest, I'm going to put basketball, not just women's basketball coaches of all time. He's got 11 titles, but they haven't won since 2016, to my knowledge. And here was him discussing kind of what Chuck referenced earlier, and here's the question added as well.
I'm somewhat fortunate, where I am. There aren't a whole lot of high level players coming to play at Connecticut going, I'm leaving for a better opportunity. All right? So I'm kind of fortunate in that regard. We have pretty strong relationships with our best players. They didn't come here for the money. They didn't come here for the other stuff. So not only do they make more money than the average bear, but they understand they can't. So the average coach out there, though, who's not where I am, you can't do your job anymore. And people can say you got to change with the times. How does changing with the times help you have better relationships with your players when it's all transactional now? So what kind of relationship can you have with somebody that is telling you, I might be here 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, or I might be at 4 schools in 4 years? And this has nothing to do with the money. Forget the money part. This is about the ability that you can just walk out anytime you want.
And that's an element. I thought the question was attached, but the end of his statement discussing that, coaching is difficult as it is, but that last part, Chuck, is about as straightforward as it gets.
Well, you think about, business relationships, personal relationships. This in a sense transcends sports. If you're not all in and you can walk out whenever you want, then it's not going to work because you've always got that in the back of your mind. Well, I can leave whenever I want. If this doesn't work out, I got this safety net. I got plan B, I got plan C, and there'll be a plan D appear. So I don't know that you're all in. It is transactional. And you think about the people that you encounter every day that are transactional people, smart people, but not always the person you're going to get in the foxhole with. And, sometimes you got to have those kind of people. In fact, a lot of times you got to have those kind of people if you're going to win. And I just don't know, given, it's our fault. It's the adults' fault. We've screwed it all up. But, I think right now kids more than ever look at it as a transactional experience. And they're way too young to be looking at things like that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think the adults behind some of these kids are also at fault because they're pushing for the money because it's going to change and transform their families in many cases, and you can't blame them for having those thoughts, but it's the first chance. I can tell you if any of my kids went on to get upper six-figure NIL deals and income at that age, it would transform most households and most families. So I can't blame them for that, but part of what we're seeing across the landscape is a byproduct of also the family perspective from these athletes.
Well, one of the things we have to keep in mind is we are still very early in this process from a historical perspective. I mean, we've crossed the Rubicon, and we're in the middle of it. And so
are we? Are we in the middle?
Well, what I mean is we're in the middle of this transformation. And we don't know yet exactly how all this is going to play out. There's going to be some modification as we go. I'm certain of that. But there's so much money out there, guys, right now. There's just so much money out there right now. Athletic departments operate with triple the staff, quadruple the staff that they operated with even 10 years ago, 15 years ago. These kids see all that. They see all the nice cars in the parking lot. They see all the people that live in nice homes. And they know it's all because of the stuff that they're doing out there on the floor or on the field. And they want their chunk. And I don't blame them for that. But there's going to be a modification. College athletics is like living in Disney World right now. And at some point, that's going to change. But I can't tell you when it's going to happen because I've not seen any real sign that it's right around the corner.
When we let Saban take over as the commissioner of all sports.
When Saban runs the show and everything. He's going to be a golf commentator now, I see now. The Golf Channel is even summoning him for commentary on golf now.
He was, Chuck, I know you don't.
Can coach everything.
Yeah.
I know you probably don't believe in the announcer jinx as a broadcaster and a play-by-play guy, but did you notice, like, right as he was talking about Justin Thomas being just like a clutch golfer, he shanked the crap out of him.
Yeah.
He just
shanks will happen, even to guys like Justin Thomas. Hey, talking about money as we were a minute ago, if you're buying or selling a home, chances are it's the most money you've ever spent in your life. I know it was for me. There may be exceptions to that, but for most of us, it's your largest investment. You want to partner with a pro. You want to partner with someone who understands the game. And right now, that's more important than ever. You know, if you pay attention to what's going on in the world, the housing market, you want someone who understands because some areas are immune to it. Some aren't. Some blocks are better than others. We all know it's about location. They certainly understand all of that at Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. What I can speak to you about most honestly is my experience multiple times as a buyer and a seller. And each time we got from contract to close in a manner that made me really happy at the end. I'll just put it that way, as a buyer and a seller. So whatever your situation, I will recommend them wholeheartedly. I think your experience is going to be very similar to mine when you partner with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith, Branson. And you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
You want to give us you're referencing the
I'd say,
weather.
We've been talking about it. I should come back to it. 36 and some drizzling rain in Fayetteville, which is the hot spot around the state. You look, it's 33, balmy 36, 33 in Little Rock. Fort Smith is at 31. Branson and Harrison at 30 degrees right now. Hot Springs at 32. So, when you look around, it's kind of odd, and it really goes against most of our weather principles that Fayetteville's the hot spot everywhere you look in 360 degrees. You go up I-49 a little bit to Benton County. Roads are worse there. Temperatures are colder there. You come down through the tunnel.
Get one of those TV guys on the line, Ty, to explain all this to us. Wake them up.
Where's Darby when we need him?
Yeah.
Well, Ruskin used to be a weatherman. Can't he pull some of that from?
I said they're not up.
Yeah. Exactly. So
they're not awake yet.
For some reason, Fayetteville is a little bit warmer, but that's helping out with the roads in and around.
It's straight rain where I am right now, but I think everywhere else it's freezing drizzle.
And snow. I mean, they're talking about snow in places now. It says on my phone it's snowing in the River Valley, and I can tell you it is not. But anyway,
at least
there's some wrecks. So I know you were keeping an eye on.
Got another one, Baxter County, on close to Highway 178 near Mountain Home. We have another wreck this morning, and there's a road. In Fulton County, there's a bridge issue. It looks like it's out.
People slipping and sliding everywhere.
And I got a text earlier. There was a log truck that had blocked a road down in Polk County, north of Mena near Akron. It wasn't on 71. It was off of 71. So everywhere you look, slick roads. I think a lot of people will virtually every school in the listening area is out today.
It's better sledding weather. That's what the kids like this
sledding
morning.
weather.
No, you need snow for that.
You need snow.
For that.
For over ice?
Yeah.
No, you just need sledding weather. It's not thick enough, number one.
We just, for our...
No, you can't sled on this
We
stuff.
would sled on the streets when it was icy outside. That was our favorite when it iced over snowed because we felt like you could go faster and then hit that mailbox or
Well,
something.
Clark, you can try that.
Down there in Little Rock,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit different.
Yeah. Those country club boys, they had different
Says
stuff.
the guy that's a member of a country club,
Well, I
while
am
his
now.
counterpart would just has never been a part of that, whatever. I think that's neither here nor there.
Hey, we're brought to you by Vici Aesthetics and Wellness, 479-343-8424. Man, if you've been trapped up, cooped up for this weather and you got cabin fever and the scale's going the wrong direction, it's time to start on a new program that's medically supervised by their doctors and their staff. You'll see the nurses each week. They'll adjust your program with semaglutide or tirzepatide. It's the shot. It's the latest crave in weight loss. And it's really a game changer because everyone's having success with tirzepatide and semaglutide. 479-343-8424. Get yourself started today with Vici Aesthetics and Wellness, 343-8424.
Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at Wheels.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
If you hope heaven has a bar, it's guaranteed that you'll be bounced and barred. Heaven is reserved for those who have put their hope in God's Word. Jesus said you must be born again by trusting in Him, or you won't see the kingdom of heaven. God set the bar so high, that's why Jesus had to die. If you refuse God's last call, the Holy Spirit will serve you a fireball. I'm Pastor Ed from Woodland. Think about it.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
South Carolina throws it in. The horn sounds, and this ball game is over. South Carolina leads from wire to wire. And they hand the Razorbacks their fourth conference loss in 5 games, 77-64 the final.
So I know Arkansas fans did not enjoy the performance on Saturday, and it wasn't fun. But for Buffalo Bills fans, who once again saw Patrick Mahomes rip their hearts out in the playoffs, that might have been worse. And Tony Romo had some things to say, and I've got a pretty hot take regarding Travis Kelce coming up as we keep it going here on a Hot Take Monday.
Brought to you by Lisa's Louvers of Northwest Arkansas. Get your home all dressed up for 2024 with new beautiful custom window treatments by Graber. From gorgeous draperies to energy-efficient shades to the ones like Ty has, the smart technology blinds that you can control with your phone or a remote. They've got everything in between as well to get you covered. With over 20 years in the business, Lisa's Louvers is a proud small business of Northwest Arkansas. They really believe, and they carry this out as their mission every time. True customer service is king with them, and that's why they are glad to give you an experienced design consultation. They'll come in your home, they'll make some recommendations and help you come up with the right design. They do that absolutely free. Call to schedule your free design consultation and estimate, 479-644-6404. 644-6404, or see them online at lisaslouversnwa.com.
For Tony Romo, apparently it was the worst loss of Josh Allen's career.
This is going to be the most devastating loss, I think, of Josh Allen's career because they had things situated for an advantage. They were at home. They worked all year. They were playing great football. They were coming in, and they started the game great. They were running the ball. And for him, he played great today. He played outstanding. Mm-hmm. You know, it's always going to fall on his shoulders, him and the head coach, because he's the quarterback. But it's just so hard to take if you're Josh Allen because it's like, what else can I do? And the truth is just keep going, doing it. You'll break through eventually. Problem is 15 is really good. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes, he ain't just going to let you do it. You got to go win it and take it from him. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
You think about who Michael Jordan beat during the course of his career with the Chicago Bulls, whether it's John Stockton and Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, Clyde Drexler. I mean, some just elite Hall of Fame basketball players in the East, the Knicks, the Pacers, Reggie Miller, and some other teams that just couldn't get by Chicago. That's Buffalo, guys. They just can't. I mean, you had everything set up. The worst Chiefs offense under Andy Reid. You're at home. Josh Allen had been playing out of his mind. Really didn't have a bad game on Sunday. They just can't figure out a way to beat these guys.
It's kind of the history of their franchise. I mean, what was it, 4 straight Super Bowl losses when Marv Levy was the head coach. They've always been kind of close but no cigar.
Who'd they lose
I
a
remember
couple
when
of them
Jordan
to?
couldn't beat the bad boys. But then he finally did. And I just don't know if Buffalo's going to get over the hump. Doesn't seem like it.
Who was one, maybe two of those Super Bowl losses too?
Well,
I can't
Cowboys.
remember. Well, yeah, that's what I
Cowboys.
thought. I just thought I'd tee you up on that.
A little different. Well, Bills fans are happy. Chiefs fans are not happy, Chiefs fans are ecstatic. Another win. Travis Kelce, a big part of it. 75 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 catches. Here's my hot take in regards to Travis Kelce.
I can't wait for this one.
If they win the Super Bowl, if they win in Baltimore this next week, which is going to be just an incredible game, cannot wait. I don't know why it's not the night game, to be honest. If they win in Baltimore and then they win the Super Bowl, he needs to retire. He needs to retire, go on tour with Taylor, at some point have kids, get married, do the whole shebang, and go out like his brother did this year. I just think that would be unique. And
shirtless drinking beer at the game?
Yeah, Jason.
Not a bad way to go.
That's your hot take? I thought it was going to be something like sizzling. You're just saying he needs to ride off into the sunset?
Ride off into the sunset, man. Retire. I mean, to do it on a high note. So many guys nowadays in professional sports don't know when to hang it up. You hang it up way past your prime. He still, as we saw on Sunday, very much can play the game of football. And just go on a limb. Go to the next stage.
What if
of your
they don't
life.
win? What if they don't win the Super Bowl?
Get back at it, baby. You got to get back to the grind. You go out on top or you don't go out at all. So
So you're talking about style points is what you're talking about.
Yeah, but you just, again, guys are past their prime. They keep on playing.
He's not going to be any less past his prime if they don't win the Super Bowl.
He doesn't have to keep collecting a paycheck because his future wife's cat is worth $50 million more than he is. He doesn't have to worry about money. He can just,
I think he's doing okay
travel
now.
the world, travel the country, and doesn't have to take hits and get beaten, battered like.
So then he should just quit, win or lose, is what you're saying.
No, you win out if you go on top. If you lose, you still have that fire, and you come back for another season with one of the best quarterbacks that's ever played the sport.
I'll say this: my wife isn't interested at all in this stuff, but she has watched every Chiefs game, and she tuned in last night because she's watching for those cutaways.
That was a sizzling take.
Yeah.
Just sizzles.
Here, let me back up. I'm getting a little warm.
I figured you guys would have some more opinions on that. Evidently, I just need to yell.
I have no opinion.
You need to crank it. I think you need to
try.
I think you need a mulligan. I think you need a mulligan.
At the basketball team again for another dismal performance.
You want to try again?
I thought that was a worthy take. Evidently, it's not for y'all standard. I forgot how high y'all standard.
I thought you were going to talk about, how many times they showed Taylor Swift on television, and you were going to take the conspiratorial, the NFL's, they hitched their wagon to Taylor Swift and all this stuff.
Oh, they have. I said that. You asked me that last week. They absolutely have.
For better or worse.
It's
probably more better right
better.
now.
The ratings will.
You got Laura Kraft watching.
But if they didn't go to her booth, they would have never shown Jason Kelce. You just talked a minute ago about how much you love that.
Yeah, I like Jason Kelce. Just not a fan of the rest of that group.
I got you. Okay.
Hey, you got frozen, busted pipes? Maybe you're dealing with some plumbing issues because of all the weather. Call our friends at West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. Clogged drains, water heaters, frozen pipes, whatever the problem is, they can help you solve it. 646-5151. They've been around since 1993. And maybe you don't have a problem today, but you understand that, hey, you're just a day away or an hour away maybe from the next plumbing issue. Put their number in your phone so you'll always have it nearby. That's West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. 646-5151. 646-5151 for any plumbing need. It's West Ark Plumbing and Expert Drain Services.
All right, when we return, we'll get into our SEC updates, some other good basketball games this weekend. Caleb Downs has chosen his next destination, and we'll close out the show next.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Join ESPN Arkansas on the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in-office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
Picture this, a cold winter's night and suddenly no heat. That's exactly what happened to us. But when we called Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric, they were right there. Their pros didn't just fix our heating. They brought back our home's warmth and comfort in no time. Even when our water heater started leaking, Paschal was the first name we thought of. Quick, professional, and so understanding. With Paschal's flexible payment options, we didn't have to worry about a big expense all at once. Now our home is comfortable and so is our budget. Schedule now at gopaschal.com.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news for the new year. Introducing Road Ready Certified used cars, inspected and certified with a comprehensive warranty. You simply can't buy a better used car. Road Ready Certified, only available at Rath Auto Resources. Another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
We get another recent wreck this morning that just popped up on my app in Washington County, right by Johnson, a mile mark 68.3. So, again, if you're driving this morning, be safe. I know some of you have elected to work remotely this weekend, this today. Some of you don't have that option or that luxury. So, if you're out and about across Arkansas, whether it's Northwest, North Central, River Valley, South, just be safe this morning. All right. SEC update. Arkansas loses again by 13 to South Carolina. Other games in action. Tennessee walloped Alabama 91-71 in a game where the Vols really just looked good. I mean, that offensively has been the Achilles heel at times for Rick Barnes and company since he's been in Knoxville. But Dalton Connect, their addition from, I think, Northern Colorado, has been a big part of their offensive success. And Alabama was undefeated in conference at that point, Tommy, and they were not after they left Knoxville.
Yeah, that game was over early. I mean, it was a 15-point game early, and Tennessee never looked back. And I'm sure that's disappointing to not be able to compete for Nate Oates in Alabama.
Yep. Other games, Mississippi State wins by 13 against Vandy. LSU narrowly loses to A&M by 4 at home in Baton Rouge. Kentucky beats Georgia by 9 in Lexington. And Big Z's first performance, the 7-2 shooter from Croatia that is a good rim protector. He's going to be a load that you have to now deal with on Saturday, as he was just recently cleared by the NCAA. Florida wins by 12 against Missouri and Columbia. And then Ole Miss, another shellacking as they walk into the jungle and just get beat down by 23 points to the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, so, SEC starting to take shape. We've been kind of talking tiers. I think there's still a lot to sort out in those top 3 or 4 teams. Ole Miss still in there, but I think they're behind Kentucky, Tennessee, and Auburn. I think there's not a lot of separation between those top 3 I just mentioned.
Yep, there are some good games that we have to look forward to in Auburn, Knoxville, and in Lexington as well. Again, the Wildcats coming here this Saturday. Where College Game Day will be, by the way, if you haven't heard, they will be in attendance for the first time, basketball side, Bud Walton Arena. Ohio State doing some work with former SEC players, including 2 Alabama guys. Julian Sand looks like he's going to go there, the backup quarterback that entered the portal from Alabama, and also Caleb Downs, the outstanding true freshman safety this past season for the Crimson Tide, who was fantastic. They are both heading up to Columbus, along with Quinshon Judkins, former Ole Miss running back, and then also Will Howard, the K-State quarterback, too.
Yeah, so stuff to keep an eye on as this portal continues to, I think, release a bunch of good players from 2, obviously championship level teams. So, question is, do we see any of that?
Yep.
So.
There's other Alabama players that have entered the portal, including Caden Proctor, the left tackle from Des Moines, Iowa. And he said something very interesting when he was at an Iowa basketball game this weekend. And just take a listen to the conversation, the context of this.
No bridges were burnt, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it was so easy for me to pick them when I did enter the transfer portal, because we still have those relationships. And even after I was doing bad in the SEC, and struggling, they hit me up and said, we're proud of you. You're going to get through this. And that's what ultimately helped me with my decision, because they still believed in me. It feels good, you know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as I came in here, everybody cheering me on, happy for me, and I know, like, yeah, I did leave, and it hurt people's hearts, and that it kind of equated into them showing hatred. But I mean, like I said, that's what every fan base does.
Now, I don't know if you picked up on it like I did, but it sounded like they were talking to him during the season, where he started, again, every game for Alabama at left tackle, got worked by Landon Jackson in the game in Tuscaloosa, and still has a lot of work to do, but he's a 5-star kid. He's got a pretty high ceiling. But I took it as they were talking to him mid-season, which I guess I just shouldn't be surprised by at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get to another story here when you get done with that that fits into the SEC update too.
Okay. All right, what is it?
Nick Dunlap, Alabama golfer. That you were talking earlier about Nick Saban and being a golf commentator. Chuck was bringing that up. Nick Dunlap, not just Justin Thomas and that connection there, but Nick Dunlap, Alabama golfer, amateur, First amateur to win on the PGA Tour in 33 years. Phil Mickelson was the last to do it when he was 20 years old, from Arizona State, but he wins yesterday in the American Express Championship in California at 29 under par. 20 years old, and he's first amateur to win on tour in 33 years.
Man, I'm going to be honest. Did you watch any of it?
Yeah, I did actually, because it was such a neat story. He would have won $1.5 million as the tournament champion.
So amateurs don't get paid any of that?
Right, that's why you're an amateur. So
I don't know that aspect.
Amateurs,
so
you lose your amateur status. Now, I don't know if he, I would imagine he'll turn pro very soon, but yeah, amateurs don't get.
So he's in college and he gets to qualify for, but he just can't actually reap the benefits of what you're trying to achieve out there.
That's right.
You can't go, and again, I'm not as familiar with golf.
Dunlap would have had to turn professional before the tournament began to take the money.
Okay.
But you have to assume he'll more than make up for that in endorsement deals that will start falling his way. So yeah, you've got to declare before the tournament begins. So he's still got that amateur status. So if you're watching it, there was an A out beside his name. That's why, because he was an amateur.
So you think he's also disappointed?
But an SEC connection.
Yeah.
No, listen, $1.5 million will be a drop in the bucket compared to what he's going to make moving forward.
I know some guys just when they're young and you think they have a prominent future and it doesn't always pan out that way. Are you expecting him to have success? I know you mentioned the 33 years.
Yeah, he just won a tour event.
But there's athletes that sometimes again peak early and stuff, and that's why
it hadn't been done in 33 years. No, I'm just telling you, it's a big deal.
This is all I'm learning all this on the fly.
No,
I don't really have
an amateur winning
on
a PGA Tour event is Haley's Comet rare. You just don't see it. Phil Mickelson at 20 years old, Phil's now eligible for the Champions Tour. He's the last one to do it. Phil's 53. So this is not something. That's why there's been some amateurs make some noise at the Masters and in some of the majors, but rarely do they end up hoisting the trophy. So that's why this is such so noteworthy to me. And he's an Alabama golfer. That's why we would mention it here in the SEC update. Hey, it's brought to you this morning by Clampett's Country Kitchen. They're going to open a little bit later this morning at 10 o'clock due to the road conditions. I was in the office kind of sneaking in there during a commercial break, got me a piece of that beef jerky out of my secret stash in there. I'm going to tell you, if you like beef jerky, and they got a variety of flavors, they got beef, they've got chicken, they got turkey, they got pork jerky, variety of different flavors and a variety of different spice levels or heat levels, if you will. Great beef sticks. But I'll tell you the other thing, when you walk into Joey Clampett's place, you're going to find is a big meat counter. So if you want a big old 2-inch thick ribeye, they'll cut you one. They got a great selection of seafood and steaks and stuff on the counter. But I'm going to tell you, I can't walk by that beef jerky display there without grabbing a few packages. And they got some that are smaller and you can, fit in your pocket, fit in your backpack, or you can get some big boy bags as well. So Clampett's Country Kitchen, Highway 7 North between the west gate of the Village and Jessieville. You'll find them right there. Stop in for a great plate lunch or a great breakfast most days. Great dinner anytime at Clampett's Country Kitchen on Highway 7, just north of Hot Springs Village.
We got a text here from Greg and Fort Smith on the McCarty Daniel hotline. What did you make of the Bills fans throwing snowballs?
They're at the end, yeah.
Chris Jones was waving goodbye at all the Bills fans, and he was getting snowballs.
Well, Mahomes ran over there to high-five somebody or see somebody. He was kind of ducking and getting pelted.
As long as they aren't filled with something hard.
A battery.
Yeah, some guys will get fined and stuff like that. You don't ever want a player to get injured. So I just thought it was funny that Chiefs fans were mocking them at the end, and they're just retaliated and throwing snowballs. So it was a good game this weekend. You kind of had a blowout between the Ravens and the Texans. Ravens looked a little startled in that first half. D'Amico Ryans, the Houston head coach, has a great defensive background, really kind of shut down Lamar Jackson. Lamar kind of turned into Lamar. You had a decent game in terms of the Green Bay. I say decent game. It was a really good game between the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers on Saturday night, where Dre Greenlaw, again, Fayetteville's own, had 2 interceptions, really the player of that game. And then Detroit moving on against Tampa Bay. And I kind of, as we've talked about this morning, kind of rooting for the underdog. And even though he's an Aggie, I just like listening to this guy, Dan Campbell.
You know, it's not the first thing you think of if you go to L.A. or just in general, right? You got the sun, you got the beach, you got plenty of other things going on. And here, man, it's harsh winters, right? Auto industry, blue collar, things aren't always easy. And I just think that's what we're about. And that was, you know, you want something the city can be proud of. Though you can look at those guys and say, man, I can back that guy. I can back that team. You know, I can resonate with those group of guys. You know, they're kind of salty. You know, they don't quit. They play hard. And so I feel like we've done that. And I think these guys, you know, they have a kinship with this city in this area, and they love it.
I was cheering for Buffalo with the Packers being eliminated to reach the Super Bowl. Again, they get stonewalled again, losing to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But of the four remaining teams, I'm not picking Detroit to win, but that is the team I would like to see come out and win the whole thing. You've got three former Razorbacks there. What a circumstance. 5 Razorbacks participating this week in the NFC Championship, and Jerry Jacobs, Ragnow, Skipper, Brandon Allen's not going to play, but he's least on the roster, and then Dre Greenlaw, who definitely is going to play. So, again, 5 guys formerly in Fayetteville playing this weekend, and been one of the biggest games of the year.
So why haven't we won more? I hear that, and I'm like, you know, basketball has had, you know, guys that obviously are on NBA rosters. Well, you know, and that just tells you the answer is because football is the ultimate team sport. You got to have 11 guys that are really good, and you're playing in a tough league, and you know, there's a variety of reasons. But man, you got that many guys playing at that high a level that have recently been in your program, and there has not been anywhere that near. You can't connect those two things. Connect's kind of been a word we've used this morning. Can't connect that success with your football program's success.
You'd like to.
Yeah, you'd like to, but you can't.
That's a fair question. It's a fair question to ask.
You'd think with those kind of players, hey, you've had that many, you got that many you know, you think would have more wins to talk about, brag about, but you don't.
You don't. Yep. And then on the other side, again, Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, taking on Lamar Jackson, who will be the NFL MVP this year. So that's going to be fascinating. In Baltimore, too.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be freezing. I haven't looked at the temperatures.
Well, I mean, would it matter where they played? Buffalo,
freezing in
Kansas City, Baltimore. I mean, that's a crapshoot on where the weather would be better at. So
he is. I don't think we understand how good Patrick Mahomes is because we just saw Tom Brady play. But I keep calling him a kid. He's not a kid. He's a man. But he's so fun to watch. And I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I love watching that guy play football.
Hot Take Monday brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72, off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands, the best prices, and always a lifetime warranty when you buy at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
We appreciate everyone joining us here this morning on Hot Take Monday. If you missed any of our conversation, find it in the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. For Chuck, Big C, and Tommy, I'm Ty. Back in these same chairs tomorrow at 6 a.m.